You are listening to Zen and the Art of Triathlon.
Well, hey there, all you triathlon studs and studettes. This is Brett Blankner with another great episode of Zen and the Art of Triathlon. Hey, on this show, we have 2 interviews. You see, what happened is lately around the ZenTri home studios, things have gotten a little bit busy. And I feel bad about it. And I was wondering what to do. And then I went out and totally redeemed myself and got 2 killer interviews that we're going to put into one show. First, we're going to do Justin Metzler, who is a young pro, and we talk for about 45 minutes or so all about his training and what's going on with that and what it's like, the path to becoming a pro and what he's going to do. And he just got a new bike and all kinds of cool stuff like that. And then we also have Mark and Adam from Endless Pools. And we're going to talk all about how an endless pool actually works, if you're in the market for one, how you actually spec it out, like how they're built, and then also how to know if you're in the market for one. I go on a rant about the locker room at my current pool and hairballs floating around in the water, and we have a really good time talking about that. So I have both of those coming to you right now. But first, I thought I'd do the Mark Maron thing and go on a little rant about my current latest, most ridiculous thing going on in my life. And I just left a super healthy place to eat called Salada. And I was going through the line, and it's, you go out to eat, and you're trying to do the right thing and eat healthy, so it's a little bit overpriced compared to just junk food. And so I'm already paying a little bit more than I should for roughage. and then to get seafood on it is $3 extra, right? And I'm prepared for this because I've done this before. A few weeks ago I ate here. And I'm like, okay, I pulled into the parking lot and walked in knowing that this was going to happen and wishing it was different, but it's not. And I get to the part where it's the seafood, there's like crab and I don't know, a whole bunch of weird stuff I don't like. And then there's salmon. And I'm like, yes, I'll take the salmon. And I've made you go through the line and they put all the veggies and stuff on there that you point out. And they get a little frustrated with me because I'm like, and this, and this, and this, and this. They're like, when is this guy going to end? And I'm like, man, you're loading this sucker up. I'm paying $10 for a freaking burrito. You're going to load it up with veggies. And veggies are good for you. But anyway, the salmon section comes along, and the woman behind the counter picks up with tweezers almost. It's like the salad tongs things, but to me it was almost like tweezers. Pulls up the tiniest piece of salmon I've ever seen in my entire life and puts it on the burrito. And I said, and I'm trying to be really nice, and I'm like, hey, and there's a line behind me, but not terrible. But I'm like, can you give me a bigger piece of salmon than that, or the other half of that split piece that you gave me? Because it's $3 for salmon, and that's a really tiny piece. And there's another piece next to it that could go with it that, if you combine the two, would actually become like almost acceptable for paying $3 for, even though it's not. And she just looks at me and can't believe that she's having to deal with this crazy person. And she's like, what? And I said, can you give me either a bigger piece or give me that, the other half over there of the salmon? Because that's the salmon's $3, and that is not, dude. It wasn't even 50 cents worth of salmon, and even though I know everything's overpriced already, and I'm like, it just doesn't even come close. And she just looked at me again. She goes, huh? And I said, go get your manager if you want, because I know I can talk some sense into the manager, and it's just driving me crazy. Oh, and then she literally ran away. She set the thing down and she said something like "Bertha," like that, and then ran off. I was so scary, and with demanding good customer service, that she actually took off further down the line and helped somebody else, because I was just too overwhelming. And man, you listen to the Adam Carolla podcast, and you get the sense of man, people in jobs have no decision-making ability anymore, and everybody's terrified to actually, make a decision and do the right thing at the right time. And it reminds me of the opposite of that is Zappos, where they go out of their way to help the customer because it's good for customer service. But it's not the lady's fault, and it's not Bertha's fault. It's just whatever. And then I'm wondering, am I becoming that person? Am I getting so old that I've become the old grouchy guy that demands more and different, or better and different from a serving line? And right now, I'm young enough where it doesn't. They'll kind of listen to me. But I think at some point I'll reach the age, and I'll have enough hair growing out of my ears where they both think I'm crazy and just smile, and because I'm pretty harmless because I'm 90 years old. But I think that happens. Anybody else out there have that experience? Let me know, where it's just like, what the heck is going on? As you age, you get older, you start getting pickier and more demanding with good service, but then you start coming across. The downside is, so that's the upside, is you get what you want. I ended up getting my salmon, but the downside is you become this crotchety old man or old lady that people are rolling their eyes that they have to deal with. And they can tell when you walk in because of all your scarves and cats and your walking cane. But anyway, that's the latest in my adventures in healthy food. I thought you might enjoy that. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with Justin. I had a hard time picking who should go first with this interview, because it's with their interview, Endless Pools or Justin Metzler, because they're both so good. And I literally flipped a coin while I was in there. I found a quarter earlier, and I'm looking at it right now. It's in my hand. It's got some kind of something on the back, some kind of mountain and a dude, a hiker. So what is this? Shenandoah, Virginia. It's a Virginia quarter. And flipped it, and it came up heads, and the Justin has one head. So I went with him. And so he's going to be first. And again, he's about 45 minutes long. So if you want to skip ahead and listen, you're more interested in Endless Pools and how they get their stuff done and how their pools are set up. There's return channels going under the pool. Then you can fast forward about 45 minutes to Endless Pools, and then come back and pick up the young pro and how he's doing things. So, dude, it's a podcast, man. You can do what you want. All right. And the other thing is that occasionally it's a little bit glitchy because it's Skype, and sometimes the connection gets a little bad, but it's not bad at all, and it's rare. And I promise you, you will be okay. Give yourself a workout and hold your breath when it gets Skypey glitchy, and it'll increase your lung function. How about that? All right, here is Justin Metzler. Let's go.
Welcome to the next level.
Hey, Justin, are you there?
Hey, Brett. How's it going?
Good, man. Am I doing video too? Can you see me?
No, I can't see you. I can see myself and I can hear you, but...
Let me see. How do I fix that?
Not sure. Not really.
Damn it. How do I change it? Let me see.
Yeah, I got
There
you,
I
man. Cool.
Here, I'll look cool like that. No.
Nice. How's it going?
All right, man. Good. Hey, you got on an Argon jersey. Do you ride an Argon?
I do, yeah, man. I just got on it this past Saturday. awesome.
We're gonna have
It's
to
sick.
talk about that. That's a beautiful bike.
Absolutely.
I love their
It's
color
the
schemes.
E118. Oh, it's beautiful. Matte black, and it's got like the red shine in the back. It's unbelievable. Yeah.
God, dude, I hate you.
I know. Everyone's so jealous. I know. It's sick. I love it.
Yeah, they're some of the prettiest bikes made. So awesome,
Yeah,
dude. Okay, so we have Justin Metzler with us, and he is a young pro. How old are you?
21.
21 years old. So he's 21, and you're a pro, and you are training right now in Florida at a big
Correct,
training
yep.
camp. And we talked about interviewing before the camp, and then when you told me what was going on at the camp, I said, whoa, wait, hold on. You got to get some of that camp under your belt so we can talk about this stuff, because people like John Cobb's there, and I want to ask about him. And then let's see, how did you become a pro? What races did you do that qualified you?
So I had qualified for my pro racing license at a bunch of races when I was 18 and 19. I was racing the Elite Amateur Series and just kind of traveling around doing kind of more local races. I grew up in Chicago, so I was doing Hy-Vee, Minneapolis, like Kansas City Triathlon, just, mostly things that I could drive to. I did St. Anthony's, so I'd fly to that one. So I had placed in the top 3 at a couple races. But then really what kind of solidified it for me was I think I won the overall amateur at Rev 3 Venice by like 30 minutes or something. And then, I had won the overall amateur at Oceanside. So that's when I kind of decided, all right, it's time to step it up and take the pro card.
You're too good.
Yeah, well, honestly, I had thought about continuing as an amateur for all of 2014, and it was kind of a last-minute decision in January to say, all right, let's step up. Everyone was saying I was too young, but I just kind of went for it and did it.
So what is it like realizing that, holy crap, you could be a pro at this?
I think, for me, I've just kind of I've always been on that exponential upswing. Like every year I'd continue to get better. So it was definitely an interesting moment where, I'm towing the line with, my idols, guys like Greg Bennett and Matt Reed, guys who I was just literally 2 or 3 years ago clinging on the fence waiting to try and get their autograph, So yeah, man, it's definitely an interesting and cool experience, but yeah, man, it's cool.
All right, so let's see. Well, how long have you been doing triathlon, and what was your background?
So I played just kind of like regular sports when I was growing up, soccer and basketball. I was really into basketball because I'm a tall guy. I'm like 6'3", 6'4". And I just kind of played the traditional sports growing up, and then in high school, obviously, I just I wasn't really cut out for it. The competition just got too high, and my dad was dabbling in triathlons just from the fitness perspective for only a year, and then he saw me just kind of not really figuring out what I was doing with my life and said, hey, why don't you train for one of these with me? And I was 13 at the time, and before I even did my first, I think I signed up for 4 more. So, I was hooked like almost instantaneously. I just loved it. But in the beginning, to be completely honest, I was running... We would struggle to run, my dad and I together, like 35-minute 5Ks.
Oh yeah,
not even joking.
That's pretty slow, but yeah.
yeah. We were. It was like a walk-run type thing. Our long runs were 5 miles, and my first Olympic distance triathlon, I found a piece of paper with my goal times on it. I think my goal time was 3:15 for an Olympic distance.
Yeah.
So that was kind of where I started
from that. Yeah.
Yeah, just slightly since then. Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. As you've gotten into it, have you graduated yet from college?
No. So I went to the University of Iowa, and I'll graduate in May. But I finished my degree requirement already, so all I have left is gen ed. So I'm taking the remainder of my classes online, and that's
cool.
what allowed me the flexibility. Yeah, it allowed me the flexibility to come down here and nice and sunny, warm Clermont, escape the Iowa winter polar vortex that grips the Midwest every year. And yeah, man, I'm out here and just enjoying it, loving it so far. I've just been here since Monday, so it's been great.
I met Will Huffman, who's a pro and racing the world circuit, and he was going to Texas A&M, and he got done with his freshman year and decided to drop out Because once you get in, it's so much easier to get back in, especially, I think, if you have a good excuse. Like I became a pro triathlete and I traveled the world. They're going to be like, oh, that's pretty impressive. I think we can get you back in. So, and he's probably 19 now, maybe 20. And I rode with him a few times, and that was fun, man. That was really cool working out with him. And then, but I interviewed the guys from Diamond Bikes a while ago, and I asked your question, which I thought they laughed. That was pretty funny, which is why are so many awesome pro triathletes from the Midwest, the upper Midwest, like you guys? So why is it? Why do you think?
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, I tweet because I listened to the Diamond interview and I saw your tweet beforehand. And I was thinking that to myself and discussing it with my roommate back in Iowa. I was like, man, we're starting to become kind of like the hotbed for American triathletes. And I think I have to say something kind of similar to what the Diamond guys said, is just the fact that, it's hard living in the Midwest. I mean, you look at a guy like Starkwitz or Ben Collins. I mean, they kind of slug it out throughout the winter. And I wimped out a little bit this year, but I put in my good time, and I got my good 6 to 8 weeks in of 5-hour trainer rides and, smashing out long runs in negative 30 degrees. And it's just, I think just from a mental perspective, it's, it really toughens you up. And when things get hard, out here, when it's 75 degrees, I can't complain. I've been through a negative 30, winter tundra, complete snowstorm. I've run through that, and getting out here, it's just, the accommodations are plush, so it makes it easy.
Yeah, I've noticed one thing that I'm not used to, and it's only happened to me a few times, is where bike bottles and water bottles on the run will start to freeze on you. And then you can't hydrate because the bottles, the tops of the bottles are frozen,
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's like, Texas is I'm not on the very coast of Texas, so it starts getting into the Midwest where I'm at, and we have these wild fluctuations in temperatures, nowhere near as cold as what you guys get, but the wind is nuts, man. And so, yeah, you can point it into the wind. And I remember one time on level ground putting out like 250 watts just to go, I think like 12 miles an hour. I think it was like 11 miles an hour on just totally level ground because it was the driving wind was so bad. So you can point it into the wind, and then you've got a hill basically wherever you're going. And then another thing it works against triathletes is how expensive a place is. So San Diego used to be like the best place ever to live for triathlon. And it's so expensive that a lot of people leave and try to find somewhere else. And Boulder's kind of like that too. And I think with the community there, it's smaller, so people can help each other out a little bit, and they can live together, or, share some expenses maybe. But in the Midwest, it's so much less expensive than the rest of the country. I think you can train and live for a whole lot less than other places.
Yeah, that's a big part of it, and that's what is helpful as a young pro too. Coming from Iowa. I mean, living in Iowa City isn't all that expensive, and I don't really have outside of food costs, and school. That's pretty much all I pay for, and then obviously racing and training. So, outside of that, it's a pretty simple life from the Midwest, which is good. It from that perspective, also, it allows you to singularly focus on, all right, all I got to do is train and chill and, recover and do my thing. There aren't a lot of distractions in Iowa, I'll tell you that. It's good.
Yeah. Is that a Jaybird logo on your shirt too?
It is. Yeah. We are, I'm part of the Maverick Multisport professional triathlon team this year.
Yeah.
So that was the camp that I was at this weekend. We're sponsored by Jaybird headphones.
Yeah.
And they hooked us up with the Bluebird X the wireless headphones, which are incredible.
They're awesome, man.
They are so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're great. I mean, I've just had them for a week, and I mean, I don't tend to ride or run with music just from a safety perspective, but when I'm on the trainer, boom, so nice not having the cord running down your back. When I'm in the gym doing weights and TRX, swinging around, no cords, it's great. The Jaybird stuff is great, and they also gave us the Rain, which is it's like a heart rate variability activity sleep monitor device. So that's really cool too.
Oh, cool. Okay, so you're 6'3",
Yep.
And about how much do you think? Or you probably know down to the gram.
Like 165 to
Okay.
170. Yep.
And then, all right, so what's it like going pro and being 21 years old, a guy, and being a pro athlete, a pro triathlete? Are the ladies throwing themselves at you? Or are you having to put up a fence around yourself and have a bodyguard and keep the groupies away? Or is it not quite like that?
I don't think it's quite like that. You'd think so, that, I'm out here, shirtless running all the time. You'd think they'd be throwing themselves at me, but I don't know. I feel like the triathlon community is small. Maybe now that I've moved to Claremont for a little bit more, I'll be surrounded by some more like-minded people. But definitely, the Iowa college students, I think they were number one party school in the nation at one point. So I don't think they really understood why I had to go to bed at 8:30. And
yeah, that's rough there. Yeah, especially in the Midwest, like Texas A&M. We're in the middle of a prairie. It's a massive university, but there's literally nothing to do except drink beer and go to school.
Right. Yeah.
And one doesn't really work with the other. So it was just drink beer. And yeah, when you try to start getting into a sport or something like that, it conflict. All your friends are like, what are you doing? I don't want to hang out with you anymore. Or they keep you up late. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. And, especially when you take it up to this level, it's like, I don't go out on the weekends. The people there don't really have that much of an understanding of what I have to do or kind of what it takes to be me. None of them are really balancing a professional career in addition to taking their full semester, 15 credits or whatever it is of school. So a lot of kids there just don't really understand. So I'm glad to be down here with some more like-minded people who get it.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about the camp and what's going on. So this is Team Maverick, you said? And so the camp is like a week or 2 weeks, or how long is it?
Well, actually, the Maverick camp was in Louisville, and it was just 3 days.
Okay.
So it was this past weekend, and it was less of a training camp. It was more of like a come meet your sponsors, get acquainted with the new gear, kind of meet the team, all the teammates. I hadn't met the director in person yet, so that was great. The team manager, everything's kind of hubbed out of Louisville. So I had the opportunity to, obviously get all the new gear. They flew in a bunch of people to help us out with bike fits and like spin scans, and we got a bunch of talks, and it was really great. So it was more of just like a kind of get to know you introduction type weekend to the team, but it was great.
So have you sat down and talked with John Cobb yet, or did he talk to the team, or have you seen him yet?
Yeah, absolutely. I had actually the chance he actually fit me on my new Argon.
You are so lucky,
that was
man.
great.
John Cobb.
He came in, and I was.
John Cobb. John Cobb is a legend in the sport, and he was the first one to put cyclists in the wind tunnel, and he did it with Lance Armstrong down here at Texas A&M. Mm-hmm. And I've been to he had a bike shop for a little while in Tyler. Yeah, it was great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Maverick flew in John Cobb, and he gave a talk, and I was able to speak with him during my bike fit, and his insight was obviously amazing from a fit perspective, from an experience perspective. He was great, and then he gave a talk to a live audience at this little party we had on Saturday night, and that was great too. So John was awesome, but in addition to John, Alex Bach, the former owner of Team TBB, also came in, and that was another thing that was just really, really incredible. He was, me and him were able to sit down, and he kind of gave me some of the insider tips of what made Chrissy Wellington great, what made Jody Swallow great, what makes James Kunema great. Anyone who was on Team TB or Team TBB or people who he has worked with in the past, he was kind of able to give me the inside scoop on here's what it took to be at that level. Here's what it requires from a sponsorship perspective, from a business perspective. And John and Alex together, made just a super, super great weekend where I learned a ton, especially because I'm still a new pro where, kind of like a sponge. I'm just taking everything that I can learn and rolling with it. So yeah, that was great.
Is Maverick the new Team TBB or not? Is that going to go on its own?
No, Team TBB is, I think they closed up shop this year or maybe last year, and I think Alex Bach now is working for Cobb, actually. So that's, Cobb is one of our sponsors, so that's how the two of them got hooked up with coming to Louisville for the camp. So Maverick is its completely own team. This is the third year, and the director is Chris Hutchins, who's a really, really motivated and great guy who's super, super into it. And yeah, it really couldn't be a better situation.
So, what's your what are you doing in the past? What have you done for the past few days? And what does a typical day look like of training for you right now?
Sure, yeah. So this past week or so was kind of hectic because I drove from Louisville down to Clearmont, or from Iowa City down to Clearmont via Louisville. So I stopped in Louisville for the camp and then continued my way down. So the early portion of the week was a little bit hectic. But this week I'm kind of on a little bit of a recovery week, just kind of hanging out. I had a couple, like a swim test, and I had an FTP test on Thursday on the bike, and I'm running a half marathon tomorrow. Just kind of like
just an easy week.
See where I'm at
FTP
type thing.
Tests and half marathons. Or you said a marathon or a half marathon?
Half marathon.
Oh, just a half.
No, I'm not doing any long yet.
Yeah. So what's your FTP?
So I tested at 383.
Holy
crap, in January,
man.
So that wasn't.
Wow, that is rad, dude.
Yeah.
Okay,
thanks.
so that's what it takes to be a pro. 383.
Yeah, so it was a good test, and I'm starting to feel good. The bike fit's starting to feel good, and especially for January, I couldn't complain. I was happy with it.
Wow, man. Okay, so what do you do in training? What have you done over the years to get your FTP up so high? What kind of work do you do?
So actually, in the past, I was with a guy. A guy coached me. This dude named Craig Strong out of Evanston, Illinois, and I was with him for my entire career, from the time I first started triathlon when I was 13 up until this November or so. And we just kind of did a mix of everything. I mean, he just slowly built me up, built up the intensity, built up the running, built up the cycling. Obviously, I was coming from a 3-hour Olympic thing, so every year we were just a little bit of something, whether it was tempo or short intervals or VO2. I mean, we just kind of covered the whole gamut and did just a little bit of everything throughout the course of my career. And then I just felt like it was time for a little bit of a change, so I switched over to Jesse Kropelnicki at QT2 in November. So I've been working with him for a couple months now, and it's going incredibly well. So things are going great.
Yeah, Jesse does a great interview. He's been on ZenTri a couple times at least. So I definitely like his coaching style. I like him, and Joel Filio as well.
Yep,
is a really good coach. And I think Joel posted on Twitter a few days ago that for biking, I think it was for biking, or maybe it was just everything in general. Like throughout a week, you do a mix, like you said, a mix of everything. You do high intensity, long and easy, just whatever you need. I think you kind of balance it out. So, yeah,
Jesse's program is absolutely completely different than anything I've done in my life. The season is very broken up specifically in terms of phases. So I'm actually just finishing the base phase of training right now where, I was doing, every week I was getting in just tons of bike volume. I'm biking more than I ever have before. I was running like between 60 and 70 miles a week consistently all of last year.
Yeah.
So Jesse's brought that down way, way down, increased the biking, increased the swimming. And I've been in the gym just a ton because, I'm sure you've maybe seen some pictures, or people can go check out my pictures from last year, but I'm not a muscular guy. So, that was definitely a limiter that we were looking to address this year. And, I've been in the weight room, throwing around a little bit of weight, is really, I've seen some huge benefits from that too.
Does Jesse coach Rachel Joyce?
I think he coaches Angela Nath and Lindsay Corbin.
Lindsay Corbin.
Those are a couple big names. I don't know about Rachel.
I know that he's that Jesse's big in the strength on getting everybody nice and strong. So, and it ends up when I do that, when I start incorporating a lot more strength work in, you can tell you're just a whole lot more durable. Like you just don't fatigue from being on your feet as long, and the hills don't seem to bother you as much. So it's nice.
Yeah, absolutely. And I noticed that just because I was so strength limited starting out the year before I started with Jesse, the gains have been pretty exponential. I've seen them, just from a physical perspective. Yeah. I can see the changes going on, and part of that is probably because I'm still young and I'm adaptable, and whatever kind of the new training stress comes on, I'm going to respond to it. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, Jesse's coaching style is, he addresses every component that you can imagine. I mean, he's dialed in my nutrition, he's dialed in my training fueling, racing fueling, prehab, anything that just getting me prepared to not be injured, that type thing. Yeah, he's just, he's got the whole gamut. He runs across it all and makes sure that every variable is considered, which is really, really nice.
What do you think your FTP was before you got started with him? Do you think you made a big bump from working with him and doing all the strength work?
Yeah, I mean, since I've been working with him, I think I gained 12 watts on my FTP, so I was right around 370 or so, 371. Yeah. And we haven't even done any intensity yet, so.
Golly, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just absorbing all of this aerobic work like incredibly well. We literally all the intensity that I've done has been just some field tests on my own, just kind of seeing how the progress is moving. And it was a little slow there for a while, but then this last like 3 or 4 weeks have just kind of like been clicking, and things are just starting to move really, back to where I was, plus just a little bit more without having to really. Without even starting most of the hard stuff, which is great.
So you said that he's less of a volume guy, than what you were doing before, right? And how much volume do you think you're doing right now?
Well, I wouldn't say that the volume is any different. I think that the distribution of the three sports is much different. So I think before, I've always kind of been like, in the beginning part of the, like when I'm in the base phase, more in the 20 to 25 hour range. And that's probably where I'm at now, 20 to 25. But, when you pick it up and you start really hitting it, it'll get up there in probably like the 30 range. And I got there last year a couple of weeks, where things were getting consecutively hard, where I was putting in 25 to 30 of high intensity, hard weeks, a couple in a row. So I think for now, I'll start a little bit of that now and kind of get into the intensity. But then actually, Jesse puts on a 3-week camp for all of his pros in Clearmont, where he brings all the pros down. He's here. He's got all the coaches here, and we just go as hard as we can for 3 weeks straight.
Cool. You're gonna tweet us a bunch of pictures of that so we can see.
Oh yeah. I'll be all over the social media, man.
What's your Twitter? What's your Twitter account name?
At Justin_Metzler.
Metzler. Okay.
Yep.
I have a couple more questions for you. What did the FTP test? What was it like? Was it a 20-minute, or you do longer than that, or what?
Yep. It's so I warm up for 25 minutes, just kind of like aerobic, and then right into 3 minutes all out, 10 minutes at like as easy as you can go, essentially like 50 to 100 watts, and then 20 minutes all out. And that's the test.
Okay. Yeah, that's that 3 minutes to kind of warm your body up a little bit.
Yeah, and I think Jesse looks at the ratio between the 3 minute powers and heart rates and the 20-minute powers and heart rates. I kind of let him do the math, but yeah, I think that's something that he likes to look at, and it's pretty standard. That's the one that we've been using, and that was a test that I had done with my previous coach anyway, so it's good to track the progress there.
So I think Jesse's the one that really pushes people getting more fuel in while they're biking, and so they can run better in the marathon. Did they talk with you all about that at all, about how to do that?
About the fueling?
Yeah, about getting in more fuel so that you can run better.
Oh yeah, that was something that we changed. I mean, because I thought I was good at it before,
Yeah.
but I honestly had no idea. So I mean, I totally wasn't doing enough fueling. So yeah, that's Jesse's biggest thing is giving your body the fuel it needs before, during, and after the training sessions. Because at the end of the day, what makes you faster is training hard, and going out there under fueled is not going to allow you to execute each workout efficiently. So, under Jesse's program, I am before the session making sure I'm getting in, a good number of carbohydrates. During the session, fueling consistently on a schedule with good, high quality carbohydrates during the training session, and then immediately after the training session, super focused on getting in the recovery drinks of protein and carbohydrates.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then outside of that, just eating super clean.
So what are you using for fuel then? For the pre, during, and post?
Yeah, so pre-workout, I'm more of a fan of kind of just regular food, real food, rather than sport food. So a big one for me is rice cakes with almond butter and some jam on there, and maybe a banana or something like that. Keep it pretty simple.
Uh-huh.
And then during training, I'm doing sports drink on the bike. So Infinite, I'm a big fan of Infinite. The team is sponsored by Infinite, so I use that on the bike. Just always drinking that. Drink that in the pool. Just making sure that I'm getting in the sports drink for the electrolytes and the carbohydrate there. And then every 30 minutes, I'm taking in half a bar or a gel of some kind. In addition to that.
Oh wow!
So just really getting on top of it.
Okay, so I've tried upping my fuel a lot, and it works. But where I run into a problem is digestion, right? Well, if you're on the move. So what's the trick? Do you just add a ton more water on top of that so you can suck it up, or what?
Not really, and it's been kind of a learning process because I did come from not eating that much.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I know that it's a little bit of time to adjust to that increased load of caloric intake, and just from a carbohydrate perspective and sport perspective. But Jesse's whole thing is you train your body, and the body is adaptable. So if you continuously and you're always giving it the fuel in every training session, always consuming sports drink, always consuming gels, always consuming bars, your body's going to adjust to that, and then over time you won't have those issues. So in the beginning it was, my body was like, hey, what are you doing with all this fuel on board? And now as I've been in the program for a little bit longer, and doing that fueling strategy, it's fine, totally no problem. So
I've done the same thing where because I was eating clean and also not eating all that much during workouts, because I got kind of sucked into the going low and trying to adapt your body to not needing as much or whatever. And that sucks. That's it's no good. And then, so I'm learning about what works for me for pre-workout kind of fuel, and what works during and what works after. And, so I was just curious, so the more you do it, the more you can actually train your body to soak up. And and it's true for sure. Definitely during and after, the more you eat, you are going to absorb the workout, the training load. The next day you will be able to work out a whole lot better because you've fueled your muscles to improve. Let's talk for a second about the swim. I think hardly anybody that's not elite, very elite, or pro knows about this, about fueling during the swim. I learned a few years ago to take a fuel bottle and put it by the side of the pool, and I stop every 10 minutes, 15 minutes or whatever and take a chug, and I'll actually have fuel. I go through the effort of actually having a fuel bottle or food or something like that, and then a water bottle to help in case the fuel's mixed too strong and I don't know it yet or something like that. And but I think a lot of people go through their swim practice and they'll go for 45 minutes to an hour or longer without eating anything. And you guys don't do that, right? You actually bring fuel on the side of the pool.
Yep, yeah. For essentially any swim that's of any substance or intensity, I always have my, just bottle of sports drink on the side of the pool. I'm getting in that. If it's anything super super hard, bring a gel. Or super long, bring a gel and just make sure that I'm getting that about halfway through. But I think that the detriment of going and depleting yourself in a session like that, like for example, I know a lot of people go out swim 5K hard and only have water on the side of the pool. And you're going to deplete yourself so far that you're not going to be able to either hit your sessions the next day, hit your session that afternoon. I mean, you always want to be able to, do the session and feel really good about it and be fueled and have the energy to go out there and get it done.
Yeah.
So
people will say, well, during like an Ironman swim, you're going for an hour or so with no fuel. And it's like, well, yeah, but you're loading up on fuel before the race and you're so topped off with glycogen, it's okay for that. And what really surprises me is I grew up on swim teams, but this was in the 80s, and we never had any kind of fuel on the side of the pool. We would go an hour, hour and a half with no fuel of any kind and just be wrecked by the end of the swim practice. And there's a swim team I see practice all the time now, and they do the same thing. They don't have any fuel at all. And I was talking to a swim coach a while ago, and I said, man, you guys want to win your swim meets, tell your swimmers to bring like a bottle of Gatorade or something like that to the side of the pool, and they will become so much faster. I mean, their races are like 30 seconds to just a few minutes, and they'll get so much stronger every day if they fueled while they swim.
Absolutely. Yeah, and because the 70.3 game is just getting so intense and all the ITU guys are coming up. I mean, one thing that we did this year was said, hey, we got to work on my swim. We got to make the front pack. Mm-hmm. So I've been swimming so much, and it just, when you're swimming with that consistency and swimming every day, you want to make sure that you're getting the fuel right and you're getting your sessions completed properly, because if you're not, then at the end of the day, starving yourself during a pool session is going to be problematic. Yeah. And I really want to make sure that my swim training is as top notch as I can make it.
Yeah, and I've noticed the more that I fuel during a workout, actually the healthier I can eat outside of the workout, because I'm fine. I feel good, and so I'm not craving all kinds of crazy crap because I'm fine. I fueled enough during my workout, so I'm not going to go walking around eating a giant bag of potato chips at 11 o'clock at night because I didn't eat enough, during my run or after it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where the recovery drinks come in, and they're a really big portion of it too. You're getting any session, essentially, even if it's an hour easy spin, I'm doing recovery drink afterwards, just so you don't get that, that kind of like rubber band effect where you're not necessarily hungry right after the session, but then you kind of like binge on a ton of food later. It makes it so you're totally level, kind of totally even throughout the day. You're not getting super, super high energy spikes. You're not getting those super low lows. You're just kind of like even steady, super solid, able to do your training and feel good.
Okay, well, let's wrap it up for today. We're going to have you on more podcasts, but let's wrap it up with tell us about the bike. So you said it's blacked out. Is it murdered out, as we like to say?
It's more or less, it's red and black are our team colors, so that kind of worked out nicely with the Argon scheme. So it's kind of like a matte black in the front, and it's got some like red in the back, and we're sponsored by Envy wheels, so those are just so sick.
Yeah, those are awesome.
We got these really. Oh yeah, we got Shimano 11-speed Di2 on there. I mean, the bike is pretty. So I mean, you can head over to my Facebook page and check it all out and see the pictures and everything. I'm trying to be pretty good on social media, getting just some stuff out there for people to check out. Follow along with my training and kind of see what's up. So
yeah, I think. Did you get a power meter on the bike? Did you get a power meter?
Yeah.
What do y'all have?
We're sponsored by Rotor. So
oh wow,
we
nice.
got the Q rings on the drive side, and then the new LT power meter on the left side. So it's similar to like a Stages, but it's actually in the crank itself. So it's a crank based power meter, but only on the left side. And it's great. I love it so far.
Yeah, I've got Rotor cranks on my road bike, the elliptical cranks, and they're just awesome, man. I freaking love them. They're so good.
Oh yeah.
So let's see. Yeah, with I think people are fascinated with what it takes to be a pro, and the training and the every facet that I think once you get into being a pro, you're tired, and so you don't. It's hard to go through the effort of documenting kind of what you're doing, but the more that you just on your phone, if you set up a YouTube account on your phone and you just walk around your bike for 30 seconds or a minute and just kind of point out what's on it and post it to YouTube, right?
Sure,
and
man.
then
I can do that.
Yeah, and your shoes, and then also around, what you're eating and stuff like that. People just start getting so involved; they think it's so cool, and then you can get this huge following. And nowadays, age groupers have proven this, because there's a bunch of us age groupers that are not putting out 380 watts on the bike, but they get sponsored because they have a good social media presence, right? And so if you're a pro and you're as fast as you are, and you do a good social media presence, you'll be set for life in the sport, because the sponsors will just love you, and because and I think it's like a habit that you set up of doing all that. So you reached out to me to get on ZenTri, and I think that's a really good sign that you're going to do you're really smart with what you're doing. And I'm glad you reached out to me first.
Absolutely,
So
I love the podcast, man. I listen to it all the time, so I figured, if you were nice enough to have me on, I'd love to chat. So it was great.
We got to have you on a bunch, man, and kind of see how you progress. So what races do you have coming up? What's your first thing?
Yeah, so I'm heading down to Puerto Rico, 70.3 for the first race of the year, and that'll just be kind of get the feet wet, kind of see how the fitness is coming along, and then 2 weeks later, I'm heading down to Brazil for the Latin American Pro Champs.
Cool.
So put my hat in the big ring and see how I can go against the big guys. So I'm sure that'll be probably one of the highest contested races of the year. But trying to get some points racked up for Worlds in August and see if that's a possibility. So I wanted to head to the big races. So I'll do Puerto Rico, Brazil, and then I'll do St. George as the first three, and then kind of reassess where I'm at points-wise after that.
Okay. Have you been to Brazil before?
Nope, this is my first. That'll be my first international race. So, I'm looking forward to it. I just got my visa, and I'm all set to go. Got my flights booked, so looking forward to it.
Who does the team pay for the flights entirely?
Not entirely. We get a little bit of help from the sponsors, but right now it's me and mom and dad, and we got mom and dad are definitely the number one support crew, and I try to help out. I got won a little bit of money last year from just race prize money. It wasn't a lot, but it was enough to kind of front me for at least the first three races. So right now, just try and stay even. As long as we're not dipping into the red, that's good as a second year pro. So
I think. So, I mean, you've graduated, or you're graduating from college, so your parents got to be happy with that, right? So you got that under your belt, so you can always fall back on that. And then the other thing is that, becoming a pro that can make a living off of it takes a few years. So it's an investment for a while you get that good, and then. But it's an investment that's not like time lost, because you can go apply with a college degree, and then you go start applying for jobs. Let's say 3-4 years. Let's say you get injured or something like that, and or 5 years from now you're like, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. Then when you go apply for regular jobs, which you don't ever want to do, but let's say you had to, they'd say, well, where's your work history? And you're like, I was a pro triathlete traveling the world for a few years, and it's not time wasted, because they're going to be really impressed with that. They're going to be like, wow, that'd be pretty cool to have this guy working here. So I think that when my son gets that old, and let's say he wants to go do something like that, I would support him too. I would be like, yeah, man, go do that for a few years, because I don't see it as I don't see much of a downside at all. I think it's all up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it's really helpful. I think I have incredibly supportive parents who who believe in me as just as much as I believe in myself. So that's super helpful. And they gave me the green light. They said, you know what, finish up your degree, have that to fall back on, and then anything in any way that we can help you or you needed, and we want you to achieve your dream. You're only 21 once. And so that, I have the green light to chase the dream and go after it. And as long as it takes to get there, I'm in. So, super motivated and have the support system in place. So hopefully things come my way.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks, Justin. And we expect to have you back on and you tell us how the year's going, and we'll see you soon. All right.
Absolutely. Thanks, Brett. Appreciate it.
All right. That interview with Justin was brought to us by Amphibian Multisport. Somewhere in the Midwest, a little town called Chicago. Actually, a little town north of that little town called Libertyville. And it is a super cool place. You got to go check it out, especially because it's so cold and snowy and miserable outside. Don't you just want to go to amphibianmultisport.com and get your first CompuTrainer ride free? Have you ever ridden a CompuTrainer? It is kick butt. You can control the resistance and all that neat stuff. You get in some good workouts. And then also you can bring your own bike in. And, that's how you get on the CompuTrainer. But they probably I bet you they have a bike set up. You can get on the CompuTrainer too. And then if you ever find yourself in the area, you can get in some free training time. They insist on people riding for free the first time to make sure it's your thing. And they have endless pools set up inside Amphibian Multisport. And there's month-to-month memberships. And they also have a drop-in fee so that you can come and work out once. And also, if you are active military and a firefighter or police officer, you can get the full deal, the full place at only $100 a month. So go check them out, amphibianmultisport.com. It's a full-blown tri-shop with pools inside, pool lanes inside, and it's really, really cool. And they're a big supporter of the show, and go their way. All right, check them out. All right, next, let's talk with Mark and Adam from Endless Pools. I was really, really excited to talk to these guys because as we get to in the interview, I have been in an endless pool many times. It's been a few years though, but I loved it, man. It is super cool. And you start daydreaming while you're in it. Like, man, if I only had one of these, the things I could get done. So what we talk about is what is it really like to have one, and should you consider it? Are you in the camp where you're like, your life would be so much better with one? I'm definitely in the camp where my life would be so much better with one. And I'm super stoked to have them on the show and explain all this stuff. So let's go ahead and get started with Mark and Adam. Here's some endless pools for you. Hello.
Hey there.
There we go. Cool. All right. USB headphones and stuff. Never works right.
I thought you were pretty tech savvy. I don't understand.
I do claim to have a degree in computer tech whiz-bang stuff. So that degree is about 15 years old now, so who knows,
Right.
It changes so fast. So I got Mark here. Is Adam there too?
Yes. Hi, Brett.
Hey, how's it going?
All right.
Cool. So I am here with two of the gang from Endless Pools, and I am so happy to be talking with you guys because I've actually swam in an endless pool several times, up to an hour, I think, in one. And I'm a huge fan, and I thought we should share what you guys do with the rest of the world so they know all about it. And actually,
Brett, you there?
Yeah, can you hear me or are we gone?
Brett, we lost you.
Ah, crud.
Nope, you're back.
Okay, I'm back.
Hey, real quick, on your experience with our pools, have you tried them at a expo, at a swim studio, or somebody's residence?
There used to be a triathlon workout facility on the west side of Houston that had 2 or 3 of them. and I forgot what they were called, but that's where I swam in it.
Okay.
Yeah, and God, it was Tritech. Anyway, and so I went twice early in the morning and swam in it as a swimming pool, So
Yep.
and loved it. And then I've never swam in one at a expo, and I've also swam in one to try out a wetsuit at some tri shop, I think.
Okay.
So
we have made some nice changes. Technology in our utilizing 2 propellers now in a couple of our units instead of 1 propeller, and we move those further away from the grill where the water would come out. And interestingly, when you're using 2 propellers instead of 1 with reverse, opposite drive, as well as keeping it further away, the water is much cleaner. It's much fuller. And it really represents the force that you would have to exert to get through still water.
yeah,
So it's some pretty neat stuff. And also we have a wider current and a deeper current. So it's nice and easier for some people to stay centered with a wider and deeper current. But also for some of the bigger swimmers, some of the stronger swimmers, it's a little bit more full.
Oh, and I know another place where I've tried one. Kim Bracken, who's a swim coach out of Austin.
Yep, absolutely, yep.
Has one and has cameras set up all around it, and it's just fantastic. She did a video of my swim for an analysis. It was really neat. Yeah.
Yep.
I went to Austin to help Kim put the pool in, so I'm familiar with her setup.
And that is a newer unit with the 2 propellers, so that gives you a feel for our newer technology and a smoother swim.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Good.
It was the ultimate setup for one of these things. I'm a coach myself, and that's how I would do it. So I could put people in the water and then show them how to improve their form.
I know you're supposed to be interviewing us, but I'm curious what you felt to be most impressive about the swim while you're in the pool, not kind of disregarding the video analysis and the benefits that you get from being able to see exactly what you were doing after it's all said and done with a coach.
Yeah, so
what did you like from the pool?
The easiest thing that will never break is the mirror on the bottom is always awesome. And then the amount of water that comes out of one of these is impressive. Like a local health club here put a real bottom of the line, I don't know, it's just a competitor's current generator at the end of their pool, and it's a joke. Like it doesn't do anything, and I feel like spoiled with an endless pool and having the experience. And then Kim's set up with she had the software set up from the edge of the pool. I could still sit in the pool, and she had on screens where she could
a little cart that has a DVR on it and some back screen.
Yeah, she could draw the angles of my arm, my forearm catch, and everything on the screen.
Yeah,
and then fix me in place, and that was just fantastic.
We think it's a transformative way to teach people how to swim.
Yeah,
it has the potential to change the game, so to speak. It's taken a little bit of time for some more competitive swim coaches to give us a little bit of buy-in and believe in it and understand it. But once they use it, once they have their athlete there, and once they realize, wait a minute, I don't have to yell over 4 lanes, and I don't have to walk up and down a 50-meter pool deck with a bulkhead and trip over lane lines and kickboards and God knows what else. My athlete's right there, and I can tap him right on the head when I want him to stop, and I can get him to see, like you just mentioned in the mirror, I can get him to see everything that's happening in live real time, and then we can 2 minutes later review it all on video. And the ability to communicate quickly with the athlete and the ability to have that feedback right away can be really helpful in transforming someone's swim stroke and getting the athlete to realize that there is a difference between a hand position here or a hand position there and a hip position this way or versus that way, that kind of thing.
Yeah. 2 other things were the time I swam in it for an hour by myself with a mirror on the bottom. I think that changed my stroke forever. Because you can just work and work and work on a better technique, which is nice. And I was talking to the other day, described it like running on a treadmill with a mirror next to you, or in front of you.
Yep.
And how you can realize that you're holding one arm too high, or and you can actually do the same on this pool. And
Absolutely.
then the other thing is that I thought was super cool is a trick where because you can set the current, you set the current at a constant rate. Well, you can start doing things to see what helps you swim off the front of it.
Correct.
Yeah, and so you're like, okay, well, keep that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna at the same effort. Now you're out swimming it. Well, that's obviously something that's faster, and you could never do that in a regular pool. Without lots of stopping and checking watches and timing and looking at clocks and stuff like that.
It's a little bit of a wind tunnel effect. The column of water that's flowing over you will exaggerate some inefficiencies that you might have in your stroke. So a couple things happen that I've observed. Sometimes people have off-balance swim strokes, and they'll realize after swimming for just a short time in our swim current that, well, first of all, they'll make an observation. It's coming out crooked. I'm swimming crooked. It's making me swim crooked, and it's a tough conversation sometimes to have with an athlete. Well, the water's coming straight, but you're crossing your arm underneath your body when you're breathing on one side, and you're pulling through that phase of the stroke correctly on the other side, and it's grabbing hold of that. You're adding extra resistance to this column of water, and it's taking your half of your body and pushing it a little bit.
Right.
So you have that benefit, but then, as you mentioned, the more streamlined you are for a longer period of time, and the better hip rotation that you have with a high elbow anchor at the catch phase will allow you to use the right muscle groups to propel yourself a little bit more with each stroke. And with the water coming out constantly at a certain pace, you can either change your stroke count, take fewer strokes, be more efficient, and stay right where you are, or take the same number of strokes and do something a little bit different. You tweak a little bit of the hip drive, or you tweak a little bit more of the emphasis on the early catch, and then you're able to surge a little bit more with each stroke in the current. And because the propulsion housing that we call it is generating the swim current, it's not moving, it's staying right where it is. And because water speed is it's set to the same pace, and now you're getting closer to that swim propulsion housing with every stroke, you're surging a little bit more. You just made a real-time adjustment that is proven right there. You can see that it's happening. You can feel it. It's unique.
Yeah, I've done that same thing on a treadmill where I wear a heart rate strap, and what do I need to do to run off the front of this thing without my heart rate going up?
There you go.
It's the exact same thing. And I've learned so much better place to, to hold my hands, and how to quit loping along or like braking with my foot.
I've done that too on the treadmill, and I've noticed it with recovering my legs and how high my foot comes up on the recovery phase of a running stride. And if my toes are pointing inward as I take off, and I'm carrying my foot forward crooked, or if my foot disappears behind my calf, that means behind my quad, that means that my calves are coming up a little bit higher, and I'm bringing my knee kind of in the same lateral plane forward. And so you can make those adjustments on a treadmill, a land-based treadmill, and you can make the same adjustments on an underwater treadmill for swimming. The same way, the same theory of. You're exactly right.
So let's talk about a couple other things that are my pet peeves about swimming pools, and how the endless pool like cures these. It's so great. So I live in a small to medium-sized town with a very limited pool selection. Even though I live where Texas A&M is, and we have a massive swimming facility.
Yes.
And it's wonderful, by the way. But the hours of operation are always weird, and I have to pay to park, and I have to join this huge gym that I don't need to get to the pool, and then I have to share the pool with all these people that a lot of them have never. It seemed like they've never swam before in their lives, and so I have to swim around people, and then also So I swim at this other pool that is an open air pool that they do a pretty good job of keeping the right temperature, but if there's any kind of bad weather or anything, they shut it down.
Right.
Yeah. And I have to drive, either one of these pools, I have to drive probably 20, 25 minutes. I think it's probably 30, 35 minutes altogether by the time I get into the water once I leave my house, right? And then now I got to go to work, and now I got to change clothes, and I can't see my son off to school because I've got to change clothes in this. Oh, and the boys' high school swim team also uses the same locker room. So I have to listen to what teacher's hot, who got beat up last week, and they
back a couple years. What are you doing?
The yelling between these guys is just so annoying, you know.
Yeah.
Just the testosterone volume level is just nuts, and then it's so funny when they shower. They'll get like 5 of them under the 2 shower heads, but they also, you know, they won't take off their swimsuits to shower because they're all embarrassed, right? But they'll cluster under the shower. They'll take up the entire shower and just stand in there. It's so funny. But anyway, but it's cheap.
You're bringing me back a couple of years. I remember that.
Well, not to digress into that, but that's an issue that we experience that we hear from consumers that basically say, I am very close to the club. I'm going to continue to maintain membership to the club, but I cannot stand utilizing the changing showering facilities or the overchlorinated pool.
Yeah.
So they'll continue to do their treadmill workout or yoga or whatever class they want to do, a spin class, but they'll enter and exit and shower at home.
Yeah.
So obviously, again, there's a lot of benefits to having a private pool to do your training.
Yeah. The funniest story at that pool is one time I had a water moccasin swim under me.
Oh my!
I can't. That can totally happen in your own backyard pool.
Yes, if you live in the South, yes.
Yes, but it was something else, I swear.
That's motivation.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
something you touched on just at the beginning there was just the half hour's worth of time that it takes you to get to the pool, and then time in the locker room, and then time to get home too. And a lot of our customers too, they say, look, I can afford this kind of thing. I have the interest. I enjoy the physical benefits. What I don't have a lot of is time, and you can't buy more time. And by having a pool at home, similar to what we have here in the office, it's not a half-hour drive. It's a walk down the stairs.
Right.
Mark was busting my chops earlier today because I haven't swam yet, and
today that is.
And it's I got to go do my 3-minute walk to get down there, and of course you shower afterwards, and that time is time that you're spending here or there. But to be able to have that resource so close and so accessible whenever you want it, and you're not on somebody else's schedule, and you're not getting in the car to go there, there's something really nice about that.
Yeah. When I was training for my swim across Lake Tahoe, and people, it's been a while since I've done that, so people listening to the podcast, if there's new listeners, I swam across Lake Tahoe, which is kind of like the English Channel. It was 22 miles, and it's high elevation, and I've grown up swimming my entire life, but I'd never done anything like that. That's pretty extreme. So I was swimming, one weekend I swam 3 days, 5 hours, 3 days in a row. So it was 11 miles a day, because I figured if I swam 33 miles in 3 days that I could swim 22 in one.
Sure.
The cost of me getting in and out of the Texas A&M pool, and then having to move myself around as different swim team practices came and went, and explain myself to the lifeguards and all that. And I was thinking, like, if I ever do a swim like that again, like if I was doing like big open water swims, well, this would allow me to do it, because I could get in. Did you do flip
turns in Lake Tahoe, Brett?
Well, do what?
Did you do flip turns in Lake Tahoe just because you were used to it, or?
Yeah, it was a lot of turns. Well, a couple of those days, for most of the day, they had the pool set up as the 50 meter, So that was nice, and
Yeah.
but
Great,
there
yeah.
is that's the first thing I noticed swimming in an endless pool was that my shoulders got tired within a couple minutes. And I was like, what's that about? And it's like, oh, you're not doing flip turns, so you're not getting that little break
Right.
every 30 seconds or 15 seconds or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that adds up big time. Big
Very
time.
much so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, a couple things. Obviously, open water swim training, you're not stretching your lower back. When you're doing the flip turn, you're definitely resting. You're cruising into the wall. You're getting a tremendous amount of power burst off of the wall. But also on the other side, when you're doing the flip turn, you're actually stretching your back and you're basically, changing what you're doing. In open water swimming, you're actually in a prone position for a longer period of time, and thus the cardiovascular increase in open water swimming, as well as the exercise that your back experiences and or potential tightening of the lower back, is something that open water swimming definitely will condition you for, as well as using a swim machine like we produce will condition you for that and get you prepared for whether it's a 1 mile swim in a try or a longer.
Something that often resonates with athletes that are preparing for open water swims or triathlons are the first try our pool is they swim for a little bit, right? And then they say, well, they pop their head up and they say, did you turn it up on me? And they're laughing and they're thinking, well, what did you do? You must have been messing with it, right? And so what they're not realizing is every time you're doing a flip turn, every time you're pushing off the wall, you're getting a break. And so say you're at a stroke count of maybe 20 strokes per lap. If you're pushing off a wall and you're going right to it, and if you're doing a flip turn and you're gliding off a wall, you might be at 16 strokes. That's 25% of the time that you're spending underwater. You're gliding, you're doing a flip turn. And when they get in an endless pool and there's no flip turns, and they go at it for 40 or 50 strokes, and then they feel like it got harder all of a sudden, it's because they're not used to getting that constant effort. They're used to getting that recovery time when they glide off of the wall. And people realize very quickly there's quite a difference when you're using an endless pool and trying to simulate open water swimming without a flip turn involved, without a wall to stop at and get your interval rest, which is an important part of swimming, mind you. I would never say that an endless pool would replace competitive pool swimming training by any stretch, but the ability to condition yourself for not having that rest recovery. You could swim 10,000 meters in a 25-meter pool or a 50-meter pool, but there's a chance you might spend 10, 15, 20% of that time gliding off the walls. And that's not going to do you a heck of a lot of good when it comes to preparing your systems for an exertion for a 400-meter sprint race or a 2+ mile long course race.
Yeah, when you add up the no commute, so that you can actually spend more time swimming, and then the lack of turns, needing to stop and rest to turn every time, it's amazing how much better a tool it is for open water for swimming. And with the popularity of open water swimming because of triathlons, people just practice in a pool, and they've got very little open water practice, and they don't know what it's going to be like.
Right.
And I think open water swimming races are going to get more popular too. So let's talk a little bit about different versions of the pool, and you even have a fast lane option. And so we are in the process right now of moving to a new house. So what would we be looking at as far as, because the house is being set up by an architect right now, like if they built it from scratch, what would we be looking at? Let's say we wanted to put an endless pool in the backyard.
Okay.
So what considerations do we need to take?
There's a couple different things. I mean, you're, for a quality swim, and doing different strokes, if you wanted to open it up for a variety of strokes, an 8-foot wide by 14-foot long pool would be an ideal size.
Okay.
And basically water depth, we offer 6-inch increments in water depth and 1 foot increments in width and length. So basically 8 feet by 14 feet in width and length would be ideal.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if you went 1 6-inch increment deeper than our basic and went to 48 inches, so 4 feet on panel height, and 8 by 14 by 48, that is the pool size that virtually every collegiate swim program and our top Olympic training centers around the world are utilizing for their athletes. So there's really no advantage of going bigger than that.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to cover any size individual and cover any stroke that anybody would want to do.
So I'm 6'3", and I like to do butterfly for a long time. So that'll cover that?
Absolutely, yeah.
Awesome.
We've had 6'10". We've had some of the best swimmers in the world in our pool. One guy 6'10" doing the butterfly and had absolutely no problem with an 8 by 14 by 48 and trains in it regularly.
Wow, that's cool. Okay,
he has a nice wingspan.
Yeah, that's a lot of wingspan.
That would really be. I mean, that's kind of the sweet spot with the pool sizes. And when we talk about these dimensions,
mm-hmm.
these are inside dimensions. So again, that's a space that you would have available for the water.
Right.
There's 3 different opportunities that people would have. You can put this fully above ground on a pad or patio per se.
Mm-hmm.
That is the most cost-effective way to install the pool.
Right.
Yet you could landscape up around it or deck up around it to make it look partially in ground.
Mm-hmm.
If you decide that you want to sink the pool, and again, it's a nice thing to have the pool partially in ground. You can put 2/3 of it in the ground, and that way when you walk up to the edge of the pool, you're sitting at chair height, swing your legs over and get into the pool. Again, as we all continue to want to exercise and we are aging as well, It's nice to think of the future and say, hey, I'm very fit now and I'm very agile, but in 15 years when I'm using this, would I want to have an easier entrance and exit, and thus partially in ground is nice.
Yeah.
People will also go fully in ground and put it like they would put a backyard in-ground pool.
Right.
Anytime you start digging and trenching, you're going to obviously run into a more expensive installation. So that's something really to consider. Do I want to spend that extra money for, a partially in ground effect, or could I deck up around that?
So the endless pool. So some of your models come with. Well, what are the different varieties of the, what do you call it, the tub that comes with it? And do you have to have that to make the motor work? Do you have to have your tub to make the motor work at the highest level? Like, are there channels inside the tub to pull water back around?
Yes, there are channels, but not in all of our, as you state, tubs. Again, I don't mean to jump into other products, but if you think about going to a bike shop, if you walk into a bike shop, there's a wide variety of different bikes you can purchase, and we pretty much offer that same array of products.
Right.
So if somebody wants to have a recreational cruising bike or cruising machine for average recreational swimming, we provide a product for that. We also provide a hybrid product, and that's kind of our swim spa. It's fully assembled, and it's delivered to your site just like a hot tub, but it would be either 15 feet, 17 feet, or 19 feet in length. And that's purchased by many triathletes that are interested in a swim, but they also have to think of the rest of the family. And if they have a couple kids that want to swim and are learning to swim, and their spouse, whether male or female, that would enjoy the hot tub aspect, and this triathlete is spending enough money on their own personal interest, and it's hard to say, let me spend another $30,000 on another item, a toy for me. Here's a product the whole family can enjoy. And again, that hybrid product is a product that is sold. When you get into our steel panel product with a vinyl liner that has the large return channels that sit on the floor of the pool 360 degrees around the perimeter, that is the best swim. That is the only product that any of the swim studios, Olympic training centers, and collegiate swim programs have, because that has a stainless steel perforated grill in the rear that actually intakes the water. That water is pulled into the rear. It then is channeled underneath and below alongside the swimmer, and then is put out in front of the swimmer. So the water is conditioned very well and flows very nicely in the steel panel vinyl line product.
Okay. And yeah, since I do like intervals and sprints and things like that in the pool, that's probably something I would want to check out. And then, but
Yep.
so what about what's this fast lane option where you can add one to an existing pool, or how does that work?
Yeah. The fast lane is really the propulsion housing only. And what Mark was just referring to is the entire modular kit of
Right.
parts that can be assembled indoors or out, really, built to fit, as you mentioned, with the varying width and length and height or depth increments. The propulsion housing only, you just referred to as the fast lane, is really how the company began years and years and years ago. As an idea, why don't we create something that allows someone to swim in place in a backyard pool that might otherwise be too small for exercise or laps? Sometimes someone might say, "Oh, I swim in my backyard pool. Oh, how many strokes from one side to the other?" Well, 4.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a need there. But the idea of the fast lane evolved probably 25 years ago into an endless pool. And the president of the company, the guy who owns our company, he said, "Well, how do I show this to people? How do I get people to understand the concept and to realize it? Well, let me put this device called a fast lane into a pool that I can show at expos and exhibits and industry trade shows." And then suddenly there's this pool that has a very a small surface area and a fast lane at one end, and the water's really, as you mentioned before, the volume of water that we move is pretty large compared to what a lot of the other competitors' products might be. And the problem then was you've got an athlete in the pool, and the water's flowing over them, and the water is kind of scrambling, and it's confused. What does it do after I flow over this athlete? I got to get back to the front of the pool to this fast lane unit, and ergo the concept of an endless pool with underwater return channels or these benches that are there that are designed as sort of as plenums and ductwork to return the water that is flown and passed over the swimmer that is originated at the front of the pool, ended up in the rear of the pool. How do I get it back to the front of the pool without it interfering with the other water that's now flowing over the athlete in the pool? And by separating the two flows of water, you're enabling the surface area of the pool to be much smaller than if it was without these underwater return channels. You've removed any of the currents or eddies that might develop when the water that's flowing over the swimmer is sort of fighting with the water that's trying to go back to the front end of the pool. So I really think the best product that we offer is one of the endless pool models that have propulsion housing at one end and this network of underwater return channels to allow the water to get from the rear of the pool back to the front, and provide this smooth column of water in the middle of the pool for the swimmer. We still sell now. So that fast lane idea that we started with ended up turning into an endless pool, and that was what the company sold for years and years. And about 10 years ago, reintroduced the fast lane as an addition, once again, to the backyard pools. But our suggestion is that the surface area of the backyard pool be a couple times over the surface area that's required for an endless pool, so that water that flows over the athlete when they're swimming or training is allowed to calm down a little bit by the time it gets to the back of the pool, and the fast lane device that's attached to the wall of the pool is able to draw in water from underneath that is relatively calm and undisturbed, so that you're not having these little eddies and conflicts of water flowing from one direction in the other direction.
Okay, cool. I get it. So
yeah,
let's talk about care and maintenance and setup. So what kind of water do you recommend in it? Like is saline totally out of the question, or like what kind of maintenance does it require?
Keep in mind that this is a private use pool opposed to a public access pool.
Yeah.
One thing that we highly recommend for all of our customers is the utilization of ultraviolet sanitization, and that's what we provide. Our pump is a very low pressure and a low turnover pump, but the pump on average is going to basically turn the water over, depending on the size of the pool, 4 to 6 times per day, and it's designed to run 24 hours a day. Mm-hmm. So with a pump running 24 hours a day, it's going to be sanitizing the water through the UV system all day long, 24 hours a day.
Right.
That reduces the amount of oxidation that you need, whether that be bromine, chlorine, or a saline kind of product that you're talking about. So the best thing to do is to start with an endless pool and start utilizing a chlorine system that we recommend. Mm-hmm. And the chlorine that we recommend is simply your local grocery store Clorox bleach. The average person will put about 3 cups throughout the week into their pool to maintain the pool quality. Right. So you may put a cup every 2 days into your pool to maintain that. That level of chlorine in the pool is actually less than what you would typically get in most city tap water. Right. So it's a very nice system basically for you to maintain. If you're using a salt-generated chlorine, what you're doing is you're introducing salt. It's generating chlorine, so you still are placing chlorine in your pool, but you also have salt. It feels wonderful. However, the salt is corrosive to the hydraulic hoses. It's corrosive to stainless steel, and thus you'd be replacing or needing to do more maintenance, which is unnecessary because your chlorine content would be normally so low with Clorox bleach that you wouldn't need to get into that.
A little bit of misinformation that's out there in the pool industry is that if I have a saltwater pool or a saline pool, that it's hands off. It's great. I don't have to do anything to it. There's no chlorine in the pool, and that's not really true. Salt is sodium chloride, and the way these systems work is they break the sodium chloride apart so that you have free chlorine ions that form chlorine that can then go and do the sanitation work in the pool and the oxidation work to keep things clean, and then reassociate with the sodium before it fizzles off. And there are some unfortunate implications if someone's using salt with regard to how aggressive it is for finish work that people have around their pools, especially backyard pools that have softer stone coping or deckings. The salt water that splashes out of the pool has been known to etch into some of the materials, and it can be a construction problem down the road. And for some of the internal components that I kind of alluded to before that allow us to have this propulsion system inside of this small panel kit, we use stainless steel parts. Yeah, and it's a great material to use underwater, but when you have the salt content, it can sometimes be out of hand, and it does other things to water chemistry like alkalinity and things like that. It can be aggressive, and you don't want those parts failing in a shorter period of time than they normally would.
Yeah, I know that for example, backpacking, the latest coolest thing is a battery powered handheld UV light to clean water. And that thing is insane. Like it's so easy to use, and it kills everything. And then it also is UV is what most cities use to clean water because it's so effective. We use it too. Yeah. We have a UV sanitizer that's plumbed into the what we call a water quality system. We have every pool that we offer comes with a skimmer so that you get all the crud that sort of gets up to the top of the water, a filter that the water has to pass through, this high-efficiency pump that circulates the water 24 hours a day. It goes through a heater. Every pool comes with a heater. Whether or not you want the thermostat, depending on where you live, you can set the thermostat lower so that the environment is heating your pool in the warm months, and you're using electricity to heat the pool in cooler times. And then it can also pass through this optional UV sanitizer, which will for lack of a better description, it scrambles the DNA of any organisms that are passing through so that they can't reproduce. And if that organism is sterile, then it's not going to grow in the pool. It's not going to have algae in the pool. If for whatever reason it gets into a human being, it's not going to wreak havoc on intestines or other parts. And then like compared to a neighborhood pool or city pool or community pool, because I used to be a lifeguard too. I was a lifeguard for 3 years. And part of the job was taking care of the pool, and then the stuff that goes into a community pool is pretty crazy.
Oh yeah.
And the pool that I swim at now, it is very common to be swimming along and then see a Band-Aid rolling along the bottom and a ball of hair, in the surge as you go over it each time. Yeah, it's pretty gross. And
it's nasty. The nice thing about that when our customers have their pools at home is, as Mark mentioned, a couple cups of bleach throughout the course of the week will take care of it. And as tempting as it might be to finish a 4-hour in hot weather and hop in the pool to flush out your legs, it's really beneficial to wash off the sweat, the grease, the road grit, the sunscreen, all that stuff in the shower, and then get in the pool. When the pool is in your home and you can control the demand of the bather demand or the load that is in the pool.
Yeah.
Based on how dirty the people are that are getting in, you can control it because it's a few people. It's not an entire community's worth of infant classes and swim teams and swim lessons and senior citizen aerobic classes, things like that going on throughout the day. You have much less control when you're in a community facility like that than you do at home.
Yeah.
Because you have the control at home, you can keep the chemical levels much lower and a much more comfortable range so that it doesn't affect people that are normally allergic or disturbed or sensitive to the types of levels that are present in community pools or public pools.
And then there's a few other things, like if you're able to keep the chlorine level low. I've seen lots of studies. I have asthma, and one way to get asthma as you age is to grow up on a swim team that swims in an indoor pool because the massive amounts of chlorine that they use or back in the 80s, that they used to keep it clean, burns, scorches, or sensitizes your lungs or something. And then there's a high occurrence of asthma with indoor swimmers with the heavily chlorinated pools. And then
you get your arm hairs and it rips your suits up too. It's nasty.
Yeah. But then on the other hand, well, let's say you swim outside. Well, now you've got so the pool that I swim at most of the time is outdoors, so there's no cover over it. So if I swim in the middle of the day, I'm going to get sunburned. But if I do an endless pool, I can just position an umbrella near the side of the pool or put an awning over it, and I'm good to go without being out in the sun so much.
Totally agree.
Yeah. So when I did the 5 hours every day back to back, I did it in an indoor pool because of the because I didn't want to be out in the sun that long doing it.
Right. Yeah.
And then the first day I did it at a smaller pool that was regularly chlorinated. And I ended up having a asthma burn in my lungs, I think from the chlorine. And then so the second day I switched over to the A&M pool where it's massive inside and it's much more ventilated, but it was really expensive to do it.
Yep.
So let's see. I have a couple other questions. So let's say what's the process of ordering a pool? Do you guys work with customers to help them figure out what they to match them up with what they want with what you have, and then how does it get to their house?
Yeah, our business is set up that we actually are selling directly to the consumers. We have a team of about 30 people here that work on the entire sales process. We have engineers, architects, we have some interior design folks. But basically, what we're doing is working to create a product that will be custom to fit into the space that people have. Our products, the most common product we sell that we've talked about before is the endless pool, which is the steel panel with the return channels. And basically, if you can carry a piece of plywood or typical construction materials through the doors, down the step, and into a room, you can actually take that same componentry of our pool and walk into the house and assemble it there. Again, to create that, we need to work with the room dimensions. Mm-hmm. We also do want to, either, if they have the space and it's suitable, we will locate the water quality system, the filtration system poolside. If they wish, we can remotely locate that into a separate room or into a garage, or basically they can put it through a wall and put it outdoors. So those opportunities exist, and that's what we help people do. As we discussed, we actually have a baker's dozen of pools that people can choose from. So we want to make sure that we select the right pool for the right person. Right. As you stated, you'd like to do some sprint efforts. Our pools range in pace for about 4 different high-end pace levels based on the swimmer. And thus, again, we would want to make sure that we're matching you with a product that can match your speed and the effort and workout program that you wish to choose and do on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Our company we're headquartered just outside of Philadelphia, and we have 2 buildings here. One is the building where a majority of our staff works, and that's where we have our design staff, we have our engineers, we have management, we have accounting and customer services here too. That's a real nice benefit. Everybody's all really in the same building here. Mm-hmm. And then we have another building 2 miles away, and that's where we call it a warehouse or a production facility, and that's where we sort and we source and we store and we build all of the kits custom. But we're very proud of the fact that we source all of the goods from our vendors. We bring them in-house and we assemble everything here. And it's shipped. Everything that anyone buys from Endless Pools is shipped from our warehouse in Pennsylvania, either via a van line or really a moving truck, or by rail to a local distribution center all over the country and all over the world. And we're proud that we're all here. It's not ordering parts here that are being manufactured overseas and then being shipped here. If you call customer service, you're getting somewhere overseas. It's all happening just outside of Philadelphia, and we've been shipping nationally and internationally for close to 30 years now.
Yeah, that's something to be really proud of. That's a cool setup. So,
Thank you.
Yeah, and did you say something about that each pool comes with a heater?
The electric heater is standard.
Yeah.
We again, part of that process, working with the customer, depending on where they're at. Mm-hmm. There are certainly areas in the South that solar heat could be a great source opposed to electric. And basically what you do is you turn the electric heater down low so it only kicks on if needed. But basically solar is an excellent form of heat. We also, will offer for folks, depending on where they're placing this, if it's being placed outdoors, a gas heater would be much more efficient than electric heater because the cost of gas versus electric. But there's many opportunities that people would have to provide heat for the water in the pool. Okay. So we can work with our product, work with any heat source that somebody would want to heat the water.
Yeah, I started a thread on Slow Twitch asking people, how much does it cost to heat an endless pool? And I was really surprised, like how inexpensive it is, and how much does it cost to operate it.
Yep. Basically, again, getting back to your point, there's so many variables, whether it's indoors, outdoors, how well it's insulated. So that's one thing that we push here very strongly, to make sure that people are spending the extra couple $100 to properly insulate the pool and don't they basically shorten it or skimp there.
Yeah.
Basically, your propeller inside of the pool that's generating the flow or the current, that is hydraulically driven. We're using a non-food grade vegetable oil, so it's safe if it were ever to leak into the pool. But the point is that this is about a penny per minute to run the swim current. It's a very, very efficient motor that is basically pumping the fluid. So the cost of running it is very, very cost effective. The cost of maintaining it with Clorox bleach is very effective. And then again, the big significant thing that you'd have would be heat cost. And we really work with people based on where they're located to make sure that we're making the right choice on their heat option.
Yeah, cool. So do you have any crazy stories of somebody doing something with one or training in one, like the 6'10" Olympian with the butterfly wingspan or anything like that?
It's a crazy story. Some of the cooler things that we've experienced are taking the pools to, at least in my opinion, some really highly competitive swim meets, and seeing some of the United States national team members get in the pool and try it and realize, oh wow, that's cool. It works. And if you're at a U.S. swimming Grand Prix meet and you see some recognizable faces and names, and some maybe not so much, but they're all stud swimmers. And yeah. I've not had an experience where I'm there and somebody gets out and says, well, that thing doesn't work. So we rely on selling the products to people who are using this for health and fitness, general health and fitness. And I see the majority of our customer is not a competitive athlete by any stretch. They're looking for a way to have low impact exercise that they enjoy in the comfort of their own home. And we love that. That's what keeps us in business. Athletes also keep us in business, but it's really interesting to see some of the best athletes in the world using the product sometimes just to play with a little bit of a awkward catch thing that they're doing on their left side and they're not doing on their right side when they're recovering from a breathing stroke. And you have a national team coach watching over a national team athlete and saying, you know what, why don't you slow it down? Why don't you think about your fingertip entry and controlling it, and just feel that catch a little bit more. Feel that catch a little bit more, and you see that the light bulb go off. And wow, we're doing something here that can be really, really valuable for some of these athletes. Some of the other things that athletes have done is exactly as you've described. I'm preparing for a long distance open water swim, and I'm gonna swim for 5 hours.
Yeah, and you can in that thing.
And it sounds terrible, but look, okay, some people think going for a 3 or 4 hour run sounds terrible if you're preparing for a marathon. It's what you have to do. But to know that we can offer that to someone who is using it for that, we take a lot of pride in that.
Yeah,
we're real on as Adam mentioned, some of the swimming Grand Prix we've been to. We're out of the pool. We're in the athlete zone. We're there for the athletes. I basically had a coach that was standing next to me, and he basically wanted one of his athletes to get in because of the massive mirror on the bottom. The athlete got in, and he said, Mark's been working with people here. I want you to get in. I want you to swim, and then after you swim, we'll come up give you an evaluation. So the athlete got in, was a very, very high caliber athlete. He got in, and within about 5 seconds, the coach smacked the coping on the side of our pool and said a curse word. And I looked at him, I said, "What's wrong?" He said, "I've been telling this student athlete for 3 years what to do right. In 5 seconds, he saw himself in the mirror and completely corrected himself."
Yeah.
He then prepared for his meet, which was the finals. The coach came back out, a male coach, came back out about a half hour later and gave me a hug and said, my athlete just PR'd. It was your mirror that made all the difference in the world.
Yeah. And
to your point, which you had realized and stated earlier, we all have muscle memory, and whether that muscle memory is used for cycling or biking, cycling, running, or swimming. Swimming is one of the hardest things because you don't really see what your muscles are doing while you're swimming. No. And thus, the use of an endless pool is extremely valuable from time to time. I mean, it's great for me. I love to go out in open water and swim in a lake. I spend time in the pool, regular rec pool. Yeah. But the point is that getting into an endless pool and seeing yourself, it basically allows you to see what you're doing. And unfortunately, many times I'm doing things that I shouldn't be doing that are not efficient and helping me with my propulsion forward. So that mirror underneath and seeing what you're doing, it will reprogram your muscles by repeating that and watching yourself for hours, weeks, months, and doing the right thing. So for me, having a career of swimming for 30 plus years, and then watching myself in an endless pool, I have continued at plus 50 years of age here, have made some remarkable improvements in my swimming, in my 5K open water swims, because again, I'm finally seeing what I was doing wrong for 30 plus years. And it's not that hard to reprogram that when you're watching yourself constantly, in an endless pool.
Yeah, the thing I noticed was that my right arm was crossing over just a little bit, and I've been told that, right?
Yeah.
But I think in a regular swimming pool, you're afraid to change, or you don't know how badly you're doing it or how much to change it, right? But then with the mirror, you go, okay, I can see it, and so you start changing it, and then you realize that it's easier to swim the same speed or faster.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
and that biofeedback just changes your world instantly. You're like, okay, well, I'm definitely sticking with this now.
Yeah. Funny you say that. That was the first thing that I noticed when I first swam at endless pools on my first day of work, close to 10 years ago, was that my high school coach was right, and it was an oh crap moment because there's a 16-year-old knucklehead whose high school coach is saying your right arm, you're getting close to the center line, and the 16-year-old says, yeah, whatever, coach, I fixed it. You don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. Then you see it in the mirror and you think, oh God, he was right.
And then you don't want to change too much because you've sunk so much time and effort in, and you're pretty fast already, so you've worked pretty hard to get where you're at. So should you change? And in a regular pool, you don't really know if it's faster or not.
Yeah, the
Right.
perception that you have of what a major adjustment might be when you're in the pool is completely different than what actually needs to be. So a lot of times coaches will say you have to over exaggerate it. You think you're reaching wide, go 6 times wider, like you're doing the YMCA dance or Superman or something like that. And you say, well, how about here? Was I there? And no, you only moved it 1/4 of an inch. You got to move it 4 inches over to the side. Yeah. And it feels like it's just way, way, way too much because you've made these impressions on your muscles and you've done this so many tens or hundreds of thousands of times with all these strokes you've taken. But to be able to see it right there and then be able to feel it and then get that feedback that you mentioned of, well, I'm now surging forward a little bit more. Yeah. You get it right there. And it's really kind of a remarkable experience when somebody realizes that.
Yeah. A lot of these top athletes, that are doing freestyle and breaststroke and butterfly, their coaches or their collegiate program will buy some of these mirrors and they'll put them at the bottom of the pool at the end of a pool in one lane, and they'll basically get about 6 feet to maybe 8 feet of a view of themselves. Yeah. But obviously, again, they're very, very fast. They're very efficient, so they don't really see a whole lot. No. When they're positioned over this for 5 minutes and they see what they're doing at variable speeds and constantly, it's much easier to make those corrections. And then we do also offer a backstroke mirror, and that's where the backstrokers have never, ever seen themselves swimming. No. And really haven't seen a good view of their hand entry and their pull, basically with video. So it's a really neat program.
Yeah, and swimming in place, you can even set up a like an iPad or an iPhone or something like that on a stand and just video yourself swimming in place too. Yep. It's so much easier than having to, and then you can work with that on your own time over and over and over again until you get it right without having to recruit somebody to help you out,
Yes, sir. Yep. Yeah.
We could do an entire separate podcast on video filming techniques for swimming analysis, but you're absolutely right. An iPad or just your phone works great if you're doing it on your own. You can go much more sophisticated with some of the things that you mentioned that you did at Kim Bracken's place at Best with Dartfish and Replay and Coach's Eye or similar programs where you can trace the lines or the angles of hand entry, of elbow position, and hip rotation, all of that. But the concept is the same. You can record it, and then you can review it right there, and then you can see it happen in the mirror again. You can record it, and you can review it right there. And it's so fast. It's so easy to be able to do that once you have it set up that, again, you can make remarkable gains in a very short period of time because it's all right there.
Cool. Well, this has been fun, guys. Thanks for being on the call.
Absolutely, our pleasure.
Yeah, how do people get in touch with you?
Basically, we have a pretty robust website at endlesspools.com, and that is plural. So basically, that's a great way. Our 800 number is 800-732-8660, and we are open from 8 a.m. till 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5 on Friday. And we certainly have people available to answer questions. We have a lot of different opportunities for information that can be sent out to people with basically planning guides and idea kits, videos. Again, we're pretty impressed with our website, offering a very nice photo gallery, offering the ability of watching some videos. We also have an app. You can actually build your own pool.
I like that. I want to do that.
Yeah. You can do our swim spa or our endless pool. We also offer a dual prop. We have some families that, their timing is critical, so they will actually get 2 swim currents in the same unit. It still has the return channels. But the ability of offering an opportunity is pretty cool to build your own product online and, kind of play with the cost of these items.
Cool. All right. Thanks, guys, for being on the call, and we'll be in touch soon.
Thank you, Brad. Take care.
All right. Thanks, guys. And we are in the process of looking for a lot to build a new house. We're going to move and add a room to our house, and we're going to stay in the same neighborhood and everything. They're adding to our neighborhood, and we're trying to make sure that we have enough space on the lot to put an endless pool in if we can get the whole thing in the budget and get it done. And I was telling Emily, man, I grew up as a lifeguard on swim teams. I've been swimming 3-4 times a week for my entire adult life after college and after a short respite period of swimming in beer, probably. But then I've been, very active in the pools and having a lot of fun. And if there's anybody that's a candidate for an endless pool, and I have to drive to another city, literally to another city to go swim every time I go swim. So that gas adds up and the mileage on the car adds up. And we have a son, that is getting into swimming, and Emily's type 1 diabetic. And so the more exercise she gets, the better. And yeah, man, if anybody's a candidate for a pool, it's us. The thing is you got to get it, right? This isn't going to Walmart and buying a cheap plastic pool that you throw out in your backyard. This thing's a real investment. But so we're going to try to work it out. So stay tuned to see what actually ends up happening with that. And let's see, we have a couple sponsor notes. Sound Probiotics. Sound, S-O-U-N-D, probiotics. So probiotics are where you pop a pill and it helps the microfauna, the bacteria in your guts, and it helps you digest food better. It helps your immune system a whole lot better, or perform a whole lot better. It makes you happier, healthier. It's scientifically proven. It is good stuff. When they contacted me and said, hey, we would like to do an ad spot on your show, I said, absolutely. And I've been taking 1 pill a day is, I think, the recommended dose. That's what I've been doing. I haven't looked at the bottle, the instructions on the bottle for like a week now. But I've been doing it for about 3 weeks now, And Emily caught the flu, and guess who didn't? This guy right here. And I'm sad for Emily, but I'm happy for me. And I seem to just not get sick, man. It's freaking great. And I definitely enjoy it. It's the other thing that's real zen about it is it's real easy. The pills don't taste like anything. It's super simple, easy to swallow. I put it next to my toothpaste stuff, so just boom, pop pill, bang, done. And I am on the road on the way to my pool that's too far away. And you can do this too and get 10% off with the discount code ZenTri. And I highly recommend that you do that so that they know that you got to them through the ZenTri podcast. So again, discount code ZenTri, all caps, 10% off Sound Probiotics. And you go to Sound Probiotics. I believe it's I don't have the link in front of me right this second. soundprobiotics.com. And yeah, check it out, man. Okay, and then also, if you follow me on Twitter, Zen Triathlon on Twitter, you'll see that lately I've been riding my bike down the west coast of New Zealand on a program called TrainerView. And TrainerView is actually a sub-property of realtimeathlete.com. So you go to realtimeathlete.com, boom, pops up this thing called TrainerView. And what it does is you draw on Google Maps a route, and then it stitches together the Google Street View from that route and puts it in a slideshow. And it's a pretty fast slideshow, and you can ride around anywhere where there's Google Street View. And guess where there's Google Street View? Freaking everywhere. It's awesome. You can ride Norway, Hawaii, Georgia, Florida, France. Germany is out of luck. Germany banned Google Street View, so they don't have any. But you can. Where else can you ride? I haven't tried Hong Kong yet. I've ridden around Japan. And I bet you South Korea. It's a real trip to ride around where through towns, because a lot of times I'll ride through countryside, but where it gets really interesting is riding through towns. And so right now, because it's indoor trainer time, I've been riding down the coast of New Zealand. So on the west side is where I'm started at the northern tip. I rode out to the ocean point on the northern tip and checked out all the people with surfboards and stuff like that, and turned around and then started riding down the west side. And I've been posting links to screenshots, and pretty soon we're going to have links to some of the rides I've been doing, and then you can follow along too. But go check it out. It's, again, TrainerView at realtimeathlete.com. And then there's a pro version that if you... and my goal is to ride all the way around New Zealand. I'm going to see how long it takes. At 16, 17 miles per hour, 6 hours a week, 7 hours a week, 8 hours a week, something like that. See how far I actually get. And it's going to be a long trip. But it's cool because I just pick up where I left off. And you can pick up where you left off riding if you get the Pro version at... let's see, you get a discount code, $10 off the Pro version with discount code ZenTri. So you definitely want to do that. That's cool. Same discount code as Sound Probiotics. And I can tell you, I've done this before. I've ridden different places on TrainerView. And by the time you ride around at the street level and you see the traffic and the people walking around and the cyclists on the side of the road, you really do feel like you feel like you've been there. You really do. It's really, really cool. So by the time I go all the way around New Zealand, I'm going to feel like I've actually been to New Zealand for sure. It's weird. It's really weird. It feels like that. And it's also kind of weird. Once you're on the countryside, a lot of places look the same. It's pretty neat. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with the training log. I take you with me for all kinds of crazy stuff. And yeah, this one's a real adventure. I do a lot of training with a weight vest on and about kill myself doing it. And Rocky Raccoon 50 is coming up. So that's why I've been doing that. And running intervals on a treadmill at 10% grade with a weight vest. And trail running with the weight vest, falling down. And my dog semi-rescuing me and just come over and molesting me. And then just lots of fun stuff like that. So that's a training log. Let's go ahead and get started with that. Here we go.
You are entering the ZenTri training log zone. Huneli.
Hi everybody, my name is Brett. I'm a triathlete.
I decided it's time I got some friends more suited to my status.
But Joe, we've been friends for years.
Hey, we all make mistakes. Come on, dudes, let's go exercise! Exercise! I'm gonna do sit-ups till I poop myself!
Welcome to a new training log. Start date! January 9th. Oh, it's a Friday, and it dipped below freezing here a little bit here in College Station, Texas. And I'm leaving the pool right now. I skipped yesterday's swimming because it was 22 degrees outside, and I had swam the 2 days prior to that. So I was like, you know what? This day I will skip it because Friday, which is today, it's still going to be plenty cold, and but it was like 35 or something like that. The pool's heated, but man, a couple days ago, water was pretty cold. Even though it was heated, it was pretty freaking cold. I was cold at work for a few days after that. I remember when I used to live in San Diego, I would go surfing in the morning and then go to work, and I would be cold until lunch. Bend over to tie my shoes, and salt water would run out of my nose because I've been face slammed into the bottom of the ocean multiple times, and it was awesome. But anyway, those days are long ago. The latest is all kinds of cool stuff. I went to the dentist, which is a concern for endurance athletes, and my teeth were wonderful. And that's a big change from what they were before. And the show is all about tips and things that I've tried that I need to share with other people. And when my teeth got crazy cavity ridden, especially between the teeth, I was drinking lots of green smoothies, which are, I believe, sugary and acidic. And I was also raw vegan, mostly, off and on, mostly, and then for a while. And I wonder if the lack of some kind of food group sends your body out of whack. I was tired all the time, that was for sure. And then, but do what you want. And then you got to figure that stuff out on your own. And then let me turn my windshield wipers on a little bit more. I'm driving in the rain. It's a safe drive, though. It's cool. And then also around the same time, I was drinking tons of that carbonated water. I forgot the SodaStream water. And then I got a little curious and Googled it. And carbonic acid is created with the carbonation in carbonated water, and it eats up your teeth. So I quit drinking that as well just recently, and all of a sudden, my teeth stopped having cavities. How about that? So it's hard to tell, which one is the real cause or if it's the mix, something like that. Because I was in a frenzy of quitting a whole bunch of stuff all at once. I'm like, this is stupid. Anyway, I got to quit having cavities. That sucks. And then, speaking of that, I started putting on weight, and I was trying to figure out why. I was, half a pound a day, a pound, and it was just like, what the hell's going on? And I looked at what I was doing. Emily was buying potato chips and cooking chocolate chip cookies constantly. And so I yelled at her to quit doing that. And then, and she argued with me, which was really funny. I may have talked about that on the last podcast. And then, but I got her to quit making chocolate chip cookies like her reaction to the sun coming up. And then, but another one was in the afternoon at work. I was going and buying a Diet Coke, sometimes a 20-ounce Diet Coke. And I think there's something to that stuff. I've heard this before, where the diet drinks actually make you put on weight. And I quit drinking those, and all of a sudden my weight started dropping. And I'm back down to where I was a couple of weeks ago, just in a few days. And that's really interesting. And then it's time for me to buy a new pair of running shoes. I got the Rocky Raccoon 50 coming up, and even though it's trail running, it's not like crazy technical trails, it's just routes. And so I just wear regular running shoes, I've learned over the years. And my Adidas Boost, there's different models of Adidas Boost, but Adidas Boost have TPU, thermoplastic urethane, is what the midsole's made out of, and they are insanely well made. They're awesome shoes. They are incredible. It feels like you're running on pillows all the time, and they're just amazing. The car in front of me has a redneck written in big stickers across the back, and he's a bow hunter. And sorry, that distracted me. Those shoes have lasted about a year, and they're fine. Like, they're at the top, the uppers of the shoe are starting to come apart, and the sole of the shoe is just fine. And so if you're looking for a pair of shoes, I highly recommend checking out the Adidas Boost. They're a little expensive, but they're nothing terrible. And I have probably put, if I do 50 miles a week, which I don't really, I do somewhere between 40 and 50 for a year. So 50 times 52, is somewhere around 23 to 2,500 miles on a pair of shoes. And they're fine. Like, they're fine. They're great. I could keep wearing them. But what I'm going to do is buy new shoes. I'm going to try to buy them. I have to find them at Academy or whatever before the race. Now's a good time. I got a month out until the race. And then they'll be broken in and stuff like that. I want my best ever split in the 50 miler is in a pair of Nike Frees, and it was dumping rain, which goes to show you that you don't really need. It depends on the race. You don't have to have trail running shoes for running trails. One thing that a friend taught me is that one of the most important things is shoes that shed mud and water. Because if you get waterproof shoes, they tend to hold on to mud and water inside. And as long as you're generating body heat, you'll be fine. And as far as staying warm, and you need to be able to get that water out of your shoes so they're not heavy. And those Nike Frees definitely fit the bill. That was pretty freaking nuts. All right, I've also been working on nutrition and fueling for workouts, and I always feel like I'm zeroing in ever closer. Something I tried the other day. I've tried twice now in the past couple of days, and found it to be really nice. Is about an 8-ounce to 10-ounce glass of juice. And not orange juice is pretty acidic, so stay away from orange juice. But like apple juice is pretty good. And before a workout, and if you're eating really healthy and clean, then you tend to not have a whole lot of glycogen stored up for a workout, and you can bottom out in a workout pretty quick. So drinking a glass of juice before your workout gets you amped up, and then you get some vitamins and some nutrition in you, and you feel good, and you're going to burn off that glass of juice during your workout pretty freaking quick. Glass of juice like that, 100, 150 calories. And I just looked at my swim that I did, and it was 700 calories in an hour. So, and or maybe it was at my bike. I did bike intervals last night. 700 calories in an hour. You're not even going to come close to touching that. And then you'll be able to be well fueled, so that between workouts you're not craving carbs quite so much. Anyway, I'm at W to the ERK. Going to go in and get some stuff done. Be back in a bit. Out, bang. All right, we are back. Oh my God. It's been a few days. I've been busy or something. I don't know what's going on, but I'm in the ZenTri mobile studios again, driving the W to the ERK from the swimming pool, and I did something crazy last night I haven't done in a long time. I ran treadmill intervals while wearing a weight vest, and I'll tell you about that in a second. I wanted to say that I just finished eating an Amrita bar off the air, so I wasn't chewing it while I'm recording, and I get all those crazy people who've got some sort of neurotic whatever, they can't stand that. And let's see, there was something else. Oh man, I finished my swim, and it's so cold. I wear my jacket right to the edge of the pool and put it on this picnic table. And sometimes my jacket, I'll wear my headphones and keep my phone in my pocket all the way to the edge of the deck, because sometimes the pool plays country music over the loudspeaker system in this outdoor pool, and there is nothing less motivating than I got drunk last night. I'll never get away from my diabetes. Trailer park, like that. It's so frustrating to go to the pool for a workout, and you got to hear that stuff. And so sometimes I wear my headphones right to the edge of the pool, playing like death metal or Megadeth and Metallica, and Black Label Society is really good. I highly recommend it. And I finished my swim, and I'm still waist deep in the water. And I need to get over, dude. Okay. I'm still waist deep in the water trying to catch my breath, because I just finished an interval, and I'm about to get out of the water in just a few moments. And then I feel my watch vibrate on my wrist, and it goes, and this is a Garmin 920, and it goes, workout uploaded. Like that. I was like, what the hell, man? This is cool. Before I even get out of the pool, my workout is uploaded to my training log. Isn't that freaking cool, man? This is a Garmin, but I imagine that the Suunto probably does the same. And the Polar, if the Polar is Bluetooth connected to a phone, does the same, the higher end one. And what a different world we live in, than just a few years ago. I mean, I knew this was coming. I just couldn't imagine when it finally did. Where it's wireless and things just upload and they're done, and it's a little bit janky with Bluetooth not working all the time and stuff like that. So that'll improve someday, where it's stuff, I almost said it S word, stuff just freaking works, and they dump some R&D into making things actually work all the time instead of dropping connections and stuff. But anyway, there's that. Okay, so let's talk weight vest. So a few years ago, I interviewed William Seichel, who is a 6-day running event, and yes, that's for real. World champion. They run around a track for 3, 4, 5, 6 days. There's different events, but yeah, 6 days. And he lives where it's pretty flat on a little tiny island off of Scotland, I think. And he, no hills, no mountains and stuff like that. But he trains with another guy that's like an expert in training. And I interviewed him, and it was fascinating. He wears a weight vest a lot, and that extra pounding from the weight, and also runs on a treadmill with hill intervals, and that extra pounding of the weight like really toughens up your legs. And so a couple years ago, maybe 3 years ago, I got a weight vest. There isn't a great one for running, and I'll figure out the name and the brand some other time. It's not a big deal. I doubt a lot of you are going to do this. And ran with it some, and holy crap, man. So then that's when I got my PR at the Rocky Raccoon 50, and I was just laughing like the whole time that I'm running. It was insane, like how much easier it was, because I was used to doing running with a 22-pound weight vest. So last night I was doing hill intervals, and even at 10% grade, my intervals have gotten to the point where they're not stressful enough. There's not enough resistance to really work my legs so that they burn on this treadmill. And I could run faster maybe or something like that, but I was just looking for resistance, to beef up the legs. So I threw on this weight vest. I found it in the garage and put it on. And it's so heavy, and it doesn't, even though it's the right size, it bounces a little bit. I'm thinking about putting a bungee cord around it so it's like it flexes and stretches and contours the body a little bit more. Because it's got Velcro straps right now, and it bounces, and so you have to wear like a shirt under it, like a workout shirt, like an Under Armour or synthetic whatever fabric shirt, so it doesn't scrape your body up so much. But about 15 minutes in to my run last night on the treadmill, I put that thing on and ran the rest of the run with it on. And when I left the treadmill room, the training hole, when I left there and came out in the living room, Emily goes, "What the hell? Are you all right in there?" And I was like, "Oh my God, that was awesome. That was so good." And you can feel it mostly in the lower legs and the ankles and in the plantar fasciitis kind of tendons. And the lower back a little bit. It added stress, and that's the kind of the plus it was harder in general. Two things. That's one. That's those are the parts of your body that when you run too far or longer than you're used to, so like a 50 miler, which I'm training for, then those are the parts of your body that freaking hurt, So if you can toughen those up, well, the only way to toughen those up is either to run a ton of volume or add weight. And then the other thing is this was just 22 pounds. And it's insane how much harder it makes running when you put on a 22-pound vest. And then you think about that most of us, I'm 10 pounds overweight, and most of us are running with 25, 30, 40, 50 pounds of extra weight, and that's just average overweight. That's not extreme overweight. And we're trying to exercise and run and all this other stuff, and how much faster you would be if you lost that weight. I mean, it is hard running with 22 pounds, really, really hard, and it really drives home how. It exhausts you so much faster. It really drives home how much faster you could be if you got down to your ideal body weight. So, something to think about. Y'all stay safe out there. Bang. Be back later. All right, we're back. It's Friday morning. I guess it's been 2 days since I did that that run with the weight vest and all that, and I was running this morning with Kona, and my left shin muscle, whatever muscle that is after I was done, not while I was running, but after I was done, freaking this hurts, man. It's like pulsing and sore and such, and that's it just goes to show, running with a weight vest or doing something different and harder really works muscles that you're not working. And that's going to really come in handy at the Rocky Raccoon to have those muscles toughened up. And the plantar fasciitis muscles or those are tendons, are a little bit sore, not too bad. And yeah, just running outside. So yesterday I went by my local running store, Brazos Running Company, Brazos. And it's one of those, Brazos is one of those words that if you're a local, you say it correctly, and you can tell if somebody's not a local because they say Brazos. And you can tell if a local commercial was made by an out-of-town speaker, and they'll say the best deals in the Brazos Valley. And sorry, trying to jigger, is that a word? My way into a turning lane, somebody trying to be aggressive and not let me in. It's Texas, man. We got all the space in the world. Back off. You don't have to be rude. Or was that thing in Japan where people flash their lights twice to let you in? After you do something nice to them, they flash their lights twice, like it's blinking, like thank you, like that. It's pretty cool. I swung by there to see if they have Adidas shoes, and they don't. Oh, and by the way, I ordered Adidas Boost shoes. I forgot the name of it. I'll remember in a second. It's a longer name. And I didn't like them. They're heavier than my other ones. So I sent them back. But I do have to say that ordering shoes off of Adidas.com is nice and easy. And if you get last year's models, man, they're super cheap compared to this year's. And all around, just like a really nice experience. Not too difficult to get around the website. I think a lot of these companies have learned after Zappos and Amazon just freaking ate their lunch, that it's customer service and transparency that just makes stuff so nice. So anyway, I'm waiting for my shoes to get back to Adidas.com, and then they'll give me a credit, and then I can use that towards the right pair of shoes that I want. But while I was waiting, I thought I'd swing by Brazos Running Company and see if they had Adidas Boost, and they don't. It's like stores carry just particular lines of stuff, and they don't carry Adidas, which is too bad. And they had all that Hoka stuff, which with the Adidas Boost material, if you get Energy Boost for sure, I think you're getting all the Hoka soft cushioning without the giant soft shoe underneath. But anyway, so while I was there, I was looking at a handheld running water bottle, one with the little strap, and I found one made by Nathan that was actually pretty cool. It's got a little pouch on the strap as well, and it's actually big enough to hold an iPhone 5, not one of these 6 giant phablet phones that you get now. But I wouldn't carry my phone in it probably, but I would carry my salt pills, and maybe a gel or something like that. It's always nice to have pockets. There's a funny YouTube video of it's one of those computer animated ones where you write the script and then it just reads it. These were popular a couple years ago, and it's funny. And they were talking about trail running and pockets, just all these pockets for trail running. It's very important to have lots and lots of pockets. So anyway, there's a pocket on it, on the hand strap. So I was running with it this morning. Oh, and then so that's a Nathan running bottle. It was pretty nice. And then the other thing that I got was a Amphipod, which is a brand I really, really like. And it's not amphibian, multi-sport. It's Amphipod, like amphibian pod. Light that you clip to the brim of your hat. So it's just a little light, and it runs on 2 2032, I think, watch batteries. And I was like, oh, cool, I'll try that. So I got it, and it worked really, really nicely. I don't think they're waterproof, and that's a bummer, because if you're trail running and it starts raining, you're kind of screwed. You got to keep going. But it was nice running and then feeling, with that light on, feeling like I knew that cars could see me, and it made my running just a whole lot better because I'm running at night. But the coolest thing was running with a water bottle in my hand that allowed an extra. I already run with 2 water bottles on my hips, and they're about 10 ounces each. So you're talking 20 ounces of water, and this is for an hour plus run, but mostly an hour, and then another 20 ounces, let's say, in the hand. Once you get used to it, it doesn't feel like anything. You don't even notice it, and that amount of water. When you're training, you're supposed to drink about a liter of water per hour, because that's about how much you're sweating out, and then more if it's hot. 1.5 liters, or more, depending on where you're running, how hot it is. And then also, if you eat kind of lean, if you don't overeat, then you need fuel while you're training. And so that was just a wonderful amount of hydration, and it made my run just feel really, really good. I was super stoked while doing that. And if you do training right, then when you're recovering for your next training session, your body recovers better, and then you can train better, and that's how you get faster. So you want to do things right in training, and plus it's good training for race day. Because Emily was like laughing at me. She's like, 1 liter per hour? And I'm like, yeah. And you may not notice it the first hour, but once you start getting in the hour 2 and then in the hour 3, you're toast if you're not drinking 1 liter per hour starting a little bit in the hour 1. Anyway, so that's it. Be back. Bing. All right. Back in the ZenTri home studios. I'm actually in the training cave. I got Kona with me. We just went for it was about a 7.5 mile run. Kona, what do you think? Yeah. You gonna talk to the audience? Anyway, on the run with Rocky Raccoon coming up, I don't have trails near my house without having to drive somewhere, and having a kid and a job and all this other crap, and Ironman training, driving somewhere to go work out if you don't have to. It just is a huge time suck. So what I've learned to do is run, and while I'm running, seek out really uneven surfaces. And what I'm talking about is the issue that when you trail run and you don't run on trails all the time, well, then it ends up twisting and banging up your ankles like really, really badly, to the point of where it deprecates your ability pretty quickly to run, because your muscles aren't used to and your tendons aren't used to the stretching and twisting of trail running on hitting all the roots and rocks and uneven surfaces, and it adds up pretty quickly. And then like an hour, if you're used to running on streets, go run trails, and you'll see in about an hour your ankles are toasted pretty good. So to work on that, running on streets, I got one thing is running on grass is where available. That's my route that I run on a lot. Has a big long stretch of road. I would say 70 to 75% of this one particular run route I can do has grass and dirt and crap like that all along the edge of the road, and so you can run on that. And then I also figured something out. And you can feel it working the ankles really good, and it slows you down, which shows you that it's working. And then the other thing is the subdivision I live in. It's about 10 years old now, 15 years old. So the asphalt where it meets the concrete curb is old, and it's pulling away, it's rising above, it's falling below. And if you run right on that seam line carefully and with judgment, because there's times where you don't want to do it because it's too much, it will randomly just twist and drop your ankle, and once every few minutes it'll give you a real surprise and really twist you pretty good. And you got to be careful, because you might twist your ankle too much. And so I just did 7.5 miles of that, and It was significantly slower, like half a mile, 3/4 of a mile slower than usual for the same effort. Minute per mile slower. Kona just laid down on my foot. He's so happy. Are you a happy boy? Huh? That was a nice long run. Oh, and then it's Saturday, by the way. The fueling, I thought I'd try something fun. So I mentioned earlier about a lot of water. It makes you have better workouts because you mixes up your fuel, so you have the right ratio. It's kind of like gas, you know? Like if the blend of the gasoline isn't right, then you choke your car or you starve your car. And if you get the mix right, then your car performs really, really well. So you always got to be saying, am I doing the optimum mix of fuel to water to let it blend, and electrolytes, I guess. So I'd have to measure out how many liters of water this is. But let's say it's a liter. Let's say it's about 1.25 liters of water, and that I take with me, and maybe not quite that much, and 3 scoops of maltodextrin powder, which is almost 100 calories each. And the coolest, you can bulk order or go buy a bulk bag of maltodextrin powder and then weigh it. It's 4 calories per gram. So I think that's right. And so if you got 25 grams, so you weigh it on a scale, and then you know how many calories your scoop holds. So I'm doing 100 calories per scoop, and I mixed in 3 scoops of maltodextrin powder in these water bottles while I'm running. Before I left, and so while I'm running, I'm sipping on it. You know, as I'm thirsty, I just drink, and man, you can barely taste it. Oh, and I sprinkled in some sea salt with it. And it just tastes freaking great, man. Like, it tastes like nothing. It tastes like just drinking water, yet you just have just this nice, low, constant level of energy. It's pretty interesting. I definitely recommend trying it out. And, the maltodextrin solution. Oh, and I've been watching, that reminds me. I've been watching videos. I'm getting sucked in a little bit too much into the potato starch solution cult mindset. I like it, and it allows you to eat pretty healthy because it's starchy, sugar, and all that stuff, but it's actually kind of lower calorie than you would think, and then the calories that you use to burn off, and then overall you're like really, you're getting your veggies and all kinds of stuff. I mean, like it's pretty freaking good. So a potato is awesome, and a potato is actually like super healthy for you. Like it is supposedly just crammed with nutrition, and then turns out I never really got into this before. I mean, I remembered it when I started doing it again, but I'd forgotten. Cooking a potato is so easy. You put it, you scrub it with a potato brush. Get all the dirt off the outside, but don't go crazy with it because maybe some of that dirt's got some B12 in it, I guess. And then you scrub it, put it on a microwave-safe plate, throw it in the microwave, put it on, poke it with a fork a bunch of times so it won't explode. And then you put it in the microwave for 5 minutes, then flip it and turn it, and that way it cooks evenly. And then do another 5 minutes, and then let it cool down. And I did that, and yesterday I put it in a Ziploc bag and just sprinkled sea salt in the Ziploc bag, and then just ate it out of the Ziploc bag without ever mashing it up. I ate it like a banana. You know what I mean? Like just like you're holding it like a potato in your hand. And don't peel it, by the way. Like almost all the nutrition, the good stuff, I wouldn't say almost all. A lot of the nutrition and good stuff and the fiber is in the peel of the potato. So you want to eat the peel. And so I was eating it out of a Ziploc bag, and the Ziploc bag with some sea salt in it ended up getting sea salt kind of all over the potato. So I was eating it out of the Ziploc bag. And then this morning, that was yesterday, this morning I did the same thing. And I was walking around the house eating the potato, not out of a Ziploc bag, just holding it in my hand. And And I noticed that the peel acts like a banana, it acts like a grip on the thing. It's kind of funny. You could just sit there and hold it and just eat the potato. And I was walking around getting my running stuff together, just eating the top of a potato and working my way down it. And a potato is, in clinical testing, a potato is, I think, the most filling food that exists. It fills you up the most. And it's actually pretty low calorie. A big freaking, like a monster potato, a huge potato, like a giant potato, is like 250 calories. That's the same as like a Cliff Bar. Now you eat a Cliff Bar, you power through that thing in like 30 seconds because it tastes so freaking good. And then a little while later, you're like, I need another Cliff Bar. Try to eat a giant potato and watch what happens. It's amazing. Like, it just fills you up. It's so good. And then the crazy thing is, if you watch YouTube videos of people that are all doing, they're switching over from, let's say, fruit, like primarily fruit, or some unhealthy, I'm not saying fruit's unhealthy, but I'm saying, or some unhealthy diet, and they start eating like potatoes and stuff like that, and they start doing the starch solution is what it's called. And they say it is really, really weird. One, I like it. Two, because a lot of people are like, I don't like this diet. Like, and then two, the foods are really, really good. They taste great. And then because potatoes, all you do with a potato or a bag of rice or something like that is you can flavor it any way you want. I like adding sriracha to mine. But you just don't add butter, because the butter adds in all the calories again. So you go really light on any butter, oil, or none at all. And then you'll get that somewhere else in your diet, my theory is. And then brain fart. The potato, they say that it's really, really weird that that they feel like it takes hours for them to get hungry again. And that's really, really bizarre. So the potato, even though it's starch, and people assume that starch acts really fast, it actually doesn't. And there's something about it where it just sits in your belly and then gets slowly burned like a charcoal, like a slow. I'm trying to come up with a word for it. But anyway, so they're saying this, and I'm like, they're right. It's really, really weird. When you eat a potato, you are not hungry for a long time. And it's the opposite of eating something like something that's fructose. So like eating the same amount of calories in like a fruit drink or something like that is, one, it's super sweet in your mouth, which annoys me. I don't like candy all that much. And so it's like all this sweet. And then, like 20, 30 minutes later, you're like, bam, I need more calories. And the potato is actually opposite of that. It's the weirdest thing. I've never really seen anything like it. And I'm telling you first person. I mean, for me, it's totally true. It's really weird. But anyway, don't take nutrition advice from me. I'm crazy. All right, that's it. I'm going to go swimming a little bit. Be back later. Out. Oh, the running with the weight vest 2 days ago made running today. Like, holy crap, that was so easy. Like all the uneven stuff and anything that was difficult. In one workout, my legs were like super tough. So I'm probably going to do the weight vest again tomorrow. All right, out, bing. All right. Had a nice little swim Saturday, middle of the day. Well, it's almost 2 o'clock. Now that I'm done. And driving home. Lots of endless pool stuff going on the interwebs. People sending me messages of a big slow twitch conversation of how much it actually takes, how much money it takes to run an endless pool. I got an interview with Endless Pool coming up soon. Also, I'm listening to an audiobook called The Organized Mind, and it's great because it's really long, which means you get a lot for your money. And there's a bit that I just listened to. What I do is when I hear something that could I'm like, whoa, that's really cool. Like a Zen flash in my mind of like, hey, that's useful information. I've learned to stop all music or audiobooks or whatever I'm listening to and let it sink in a few times, you know, and let me really absorb it. And then when I'm done with it, then turn stuff back on. So there's a part in there where it says, they're talking about you know, if you don't get enough sleep, then your memory doesn't work right and all that other stuff. And there's a part where they say being quiet, and I wouldn't say meditating, but taking time to daydream. That's what it was, which really is just, you know, not doing anything and letting your mind kind of wander. Gives your mind the space to for executive function to work. And I thought that was really interesting because your primal brain reacts on fear and food and dumb stuff. And if your executive function is where you plan out ahead of time what the right thing to do is, and then you're way more likely, that's what they call people executives, because an executive class and all that other stuff is because you're smarter. And you can, if you use executive function, you can defend yourself against primal stuff like getting in the fights and doing stupid stuff when you shouldn't do it, and overeating and reacting too fast, overreacting instead of reacting properly, which is a Zen thing. Is appropriate response is Zen happiness. And the what I really liked was if you give yourself time to daydream, then it gives the executive function in your brain time to think about what to do next. Because whenever it is next, the next situation, then now you're in the situation, you're in the mix, and you don't have time to think about what the right thing to do is. So let me give you an example. Let's say I was driving home from the pool, and I was listening to audiobooks and music and stuff like that. My mind is, and lots of jibber jabber. You got the jibber jabber. And then my mind is occupied. It's always, you know, trying to analyze the lyrics and what does this mean and all this. So my mind's busy, right? And then when I get home, I get out of the car, walk in the house, and then I'm immediately like, I don't have a plan of what the right thing to do is now. And then I end up surfing the internet and not getting stuff done. And next thing I know, it's dinner time, and then I'm tired and I won't get in a bike ride and all this. So let's say I turn off everything, and on my ride home, just allow myself to quote unquote daydream, which means don't do anything. And on the ride home, instead, you end up thinking about what you're going to do when you get home. And then you can go, okay, when I get home. And this is why this is exactly why the mind is a planning mind. This is what makes us human, is we're always planning, right? And scenarios, and overanalyzing and stuff, right? Now, if you don't do it right, well, then you're always worrying about stuff, right, that may or may not happen. But if you do it right, what you do is you end up going through different scenarios of what could happen in the future, right? And then you come up with the appropriate response for that scenario. And then you don't worry about it if one scenario doesn't happen or does or something like that. So let's say you're thinking about a race. Well, then what you do is you go, okay, what happens if I drop what happens if I drop my fuel bottle? What do I do? You're like, okay, well, Ironman Perform is about so many calories, so I drink about so many of those bottles. So I'll pick up those at the aid station. Okay, what happens if I have a flat tire, right? And you're like, okay, I got a flat kit, and and I know how to change a flat, so I'm all good there. Okay, so what happens if I get a blister? Okay, I run with one of those little lip therapy Vaseline things, and then I'll stop and put Vaseline on the hot spot. Okay, yeah, so you the purpose of worrying about a future is so that you can have strategies, so that your executive function can come up with strategies to apply, and because we can do that, we are freaking amazing. It's like, well, it might get cold. Okay, well, then I'll bring a jacket. and so you're planning for things. You don't want to overplan and freak out too much. But on the drive home, while I'm sitting here going, okay, what are the different scenarios that could happen when I get home, right? Now, one thing I don't worry about is having a flat tire or whatever, because that's so rare that I don't, on my drive home, or my car breaking down. That's so rare that it's not worth worrying about. But what is worth worrying about is on my ride home, I think about, okay, what if Emily and Kai want me to do something with them? Like, how should I react? And of course, you should react like totally. And then, what if I get home and what should I eat that's appropriate? This is a really good one. So on my drive home, I can sit there and analyze, like, before I get home, what are some healthy things to eat that I know I have in the fridge and the pantry, right? And in the fruit bowl. And now I can get, my executive function has performed, and when I get home, I make the right choices because I've already run through them in my mind. And I go through in my mind what to do if I start thinking about bad choices. Okay, if you start thinking about cake or beer or something like that, then do this or do that, and it works. It works really, really well. So I never had it phrased to me kind of in the way of like that daydreaming time is good for your executive function to kind of clear out and plan for upcoming events. And now that I know that, I'm going to use it, man. I'm going to use it a lot. I used to do that when I used to swim in high school. I'd sit, because you can't do anything else, so you're just sitting there swimming laps. You can't hear anything. It's just white noise. And you kind of think about what's coming up and what's going on and what are you going to do in this situation. This girl, starts winking at you in the cafeteria. But anyway, so there's that. And yeah, the book is called The Organized Mind. I don't like the narrator so much. He's a little much. But anyway, I was going to talk about the swim. On the swim, I did intervals, but you can actually do intervals in swimming where you pull really hard. It's not quite the high cadence, but it's hard pull. And you keep doing intervals like that and then swim super easy in between, and you can feel it work in your muscles. And then your muscles get nice and strong. And then what happens is once you get fit enough to do the time for whatever race, let's say you're going to do a half Ironman, and you know that you can go like 4 hours, 5 hours, or something like that in a working out straight. Well, then your aerobic ability really isn't quite the limiter so much. It's you should be working on your strength so that you cover the distance even faster, because you don't get worn out. Because what happens if you're not strong enough? This is really important. If you're not strong enough to do something, well, then your aerobic system has to kick in to react to that and feed you more air and fuel to your muscles, because they're not strong enough to do it passively. And so let's say you can generate, let's say you're strong enough to put out a huge amount of watts on the bike. Well, then you can back down from those watts, 50%, and you're barely trying. And then, but you're still fast or faster than somebody that isn't as strong, but is trying really hard, So one thing to always think about is, are you sitting out there just getting more and more aerobically fit, but you're not actually making your muscles any stronger? So let's say in swimming, you mix in intervals with your swimming that are hard on the upper body. It feels like you're wearing hand paddles, or you could wear hand paddles. That's how hard you're pulling, and it's really stressing your muscles. Well, then you build up a lot of strength in your arms and shoulders, and your neck and your torso and your abs. And then when you actually go swim, you can swim at a pretty good clip without actually getting tired, especially because you worked on the strength thing, doing the thing that is the sport itself, instead of like just in the weight room or something like that. You're working on the coordination at the same time, because being uncoordinated will wear you out too. Wear you out pretty good. I see a cat in the neighbor's garage. You probably just peed all over everything. Gotta watch out for cats like that. Make your garage stink. Out, bang. All right. Kona and I, my big... Why are you laying all over my clothes? Oh, you're filthy, dog. Oh, now he's just looking at me like I'm screaming. Well, I guess I am yelling at him. Hey. Oh, my God. I gave him this huge hard space to lay on, and now he's laying on all my clothes. I moved him all over there because you're filthy. Okay, we just went trail running. And, oh, wait, I might have to stop the recording here. I'm going to get some people staring at me. Just went trail running, and... with Kona wearing a weight vest, and that was freaking epic, man. That was so hard. And we're at Milliken Reserve, which is a big cattle farm that's been converted into a trail running place and mountain biking and stuff. Barely. It's pretty rugged. And, man, one time I tripped and fell down hard, and Kona came running back and gave me a lick on the face, made sure I was okay. And we did 8 to 9 miles over an hour and a half, and I started developing blisters on my instep. I think all the extra weight starts doing some crazy stuff, or makes your feet kind of roll in a little bit. And I'm actually really, really happy because my quads, even carrying all that extra weight and trail running, my quads never, ever struggled at all, and I think that's from running hill repeats on the treadmill at a steep grade. And my ankles and hips and everything seem to be really, really tough, and it didn't seem to bother me at all either. Towards the very end, I started getting exhausted, and I think I was not paying so much attention to my fueling anymore, and I was getting towards the end anyway, so I was kind of just letting it go. But it was pretty freaking rad. And now I've spent the last 5-10 minutes in my car trying to fiddle with my stupid Garmin 920 that doesn't want to connect to my phone to upload my workout. And I hear lots of static on the interwebs, the Twitter nets, about people complaining about Garmin's Garmin Connect is their upload site, not working right. And things aren't working correctly and stuff like that. And a little bit of sympathy for Garmin and any of these companies that try to run this stuff. Stuff's hard, man. And you're talking about a bazillion users live that have expectations, unreal expectations, really. The whole point is to make it so simple looking so that people want to use it. But then behind the scenes, the amount of technology that's going on is freaking crazy. All right, this was a good run. I just wore regular running shoes, energy boost, and it was fine. And yeah, things are looking good. Looks like the weight vest is a smart idea. Very, very smart. I've gotten pretty used to it now, and man, it makes things intense. Okay, out, bang. All right, well, let's go ahead and wrap up the show. I've been waiting for a good breaking point to wrap up the show. We're not going to do any interviews this show. I haven't felt like actually trying to round up an interview and go through all that. It's tough, man. It's tough securing an interview and scheduling the time. And if you're working full time and a dad with an active kid, and you're trying to train for stuff, then you need energy and time to do to think out. It's really weird. You have to think about scheduling time for an interview. I've got like 4 or 5 interviews that potentially, but none of them are scheduled because I haven't had the energy, I guess, the space to line them up. Emily and I are looking at selling our house and moving to a new place. And one of the places I really like that we looked at is this house that's out in the country just a little bit. It's totally within like easy access to schools, and it's even more accessed than we are right now to shopping and schools and stuff like that. But it's just relaxed and nice. And there's a whole lot with stress that makes you energized or tired. And this house, I haven't looked at the inside yet, so I have no idea. But it's got a swimming pool in the backyard, and it's got like a gravel driveway, and it's on maybe half an acre or something like that, and maybe, I guess. But it just feels relaxed, and it's like just looking at the pictures and driving by it and looking around, and it's like, man, that's something I could deal with right now. That would be really, really cool. And with a pool, we could put in an endless pool fast lane, which is their it's their motorized thing that you just throw on the side of a pool, and you have to install it kind of. But the think about, like, if we had space, then I could do triathlon coaching with a trainer and and a treadmill and the fast lane, and just do clinics and just coach people all day and be like, okay, this is what you need to work on. And with all the gadgetry nowadays, it's so nice. You can video people, and the fast lane would probably pay for itself like pretty quickly. And it's on the edge of, like, if you go 100 feet one direction, it's neighborhood with sidewalk and street lights and stuff like that. And if you go 100 feet the other direction, it's quarter to full acre lots with asphalt and woods and just rambling homes that are just quiet, and then access to cycling out in the countryside. So I'm kind of like, man, I kind of like this a little bit. But again, I've never seen the inside of it, so who knows. And then, let's see, let's go ahead and do some emails and donations. I need to mention these. And while I'm thinking about it, while I'm digging these up, yesterday I did my trail run with a weight vest. It's 25 pounds. I looked it up. The one that I ordered, it's 20. I could have just gotten on a scale and weighed it before and after. And it's, and if you hear yelling and stuff, that's Kai on the trampoline out back with two of his friends. And that trail run yesterday, man, I went for a bike ride afterwards, later in the afternoon, for an hour and a half to get 3 hours in for the day. And man, I was toasted, like nicely toasted. I was like, wow, that freaking cooked me. And then Kai my 10-year-old wanted to go lift weights today. And he wanted to go yesterday, and it didn't work out. So today we went, and it's more fun. It's more joking around than anything else. But it's exposure, right? So showing him, kind of what lifting weights is about. And then you show him videos on YouTube of people before and after lifting weights, and he makes the connection. And so he likes it. He likes doing it and stuff. But he'll get bored while we're lifting weights and like play on his iPad and stuff. And I have to remind him, like, oh, we're here and do this. But we make it fun. And then, and he wanted to go do it. And oh, by the way, I'm on Adam Chame's podcast. I watched his videos. He's made a couple of videos, but I haven't subscribed to his podcast yet. Let me see if I can find it. I talk a little bit about raising kids and how to do it. And my big tip is to listen to them. Let's see if I can find it. And dead ant. And planttrainers.com. Planttrainers.com. He's vegan. And on that note, I'm mostly vegan. I'm vegan enough that people who eat the standard American diet, the SAD diet, would choke on what I eat. And then people that are vegan would be pissed at how much meat I eat. But I am definitely plant strong. And actually, I've lost 7 pounds in like a week, which is a little bit too much. So maybe a week and a half. Eating starch-based, where if you Google the starch solution by McDougall, watch some videos about that. Basically, if you eat like an Asian peasant or a South American native, or a Native American native before the Europeans landed on top of them, then which is basically starch like potato, corn, rice, based, with just the tiniest bit of meat if you feel like you need some, which you probably do. Some meat mixed in for flavor, and veggies mixed in for flavor, and fruit mixed in for entertainment. If you think about it, that's how rural Asians eat, for example. And you don't see any fat rural Asians or fat people in India. They're all skinny. But in his video, it's pretty cool. You see, he posts some pictures of royalty, English, European royalty, and those are the people that we in America eat like royalty used to eat, a few hundred years ago, and the royals are all fat and puffy and whatever, and so it seems like you this is just a theory, so don't go do this unless you're crazy like me. You eat a little bit like a peasant, and that'll keep you thin, and rice and corn and tortillas and potatoes, man, based, and then to supplement on top of that, to do what you want to do in life, you eat fancier stuff like meat and, well, fruit's always nice, lots of fruit, but meat and dairy and stuff like that as needed. Nuts definitely are nice as needed, and it seems to work out pretty nice. Then you got your carbs and your energy to do your working out and all that, and you feel good. But and then their thing is no added oils to anything, because that just adds empty calories. And that's what I've been doing lately, and it seems to be working really well. I'll give you an update next few podcasts, see if it sticks. But my weight's been dropping back down to race weight. I'm pretty close. And let's see. Oh, so I did that trail running yesterday with that weight vest, 25-pound weight vest. And I went running today because Kai wanted to go do something outside. So I'm like, why don't you ride your bike and I'll run with you. And I ran for almost an hour. And holy crap, I was beat up from that thing. It's like I had run. I didn't wear the weight vest today. I'm saying from yesterday's run wearing the weight vest, today I was beat up. And that's awesome. I was telling Adam, I sent him an email because I'm coaching him for a 50-miler. I'm like, consider getting a weight vest. Because I only ran an hour and a half yesterday, but I feel like I ran like 3 hours, man. Like, holy crap. It's pretty brutal. And let's see. Let's get to our emails here, everybody. Cool. We got donations. You can donate to Zen in the Art of Triathlon if you feel that this podcast has helped you out with your training and you're like, man, Brett is so kick-ass with how hard he works making the show and the time he takes doing it, because this takes a lot of work, and he puts himself out there, and it takes a lot of risk to put what you think out there, and what other people may make fun of you for how hard you try and what you're doing. So I feel like I'm going to pay him back because his information is freaking awesome. And you do it by going to the left side of ZenTriathlon.com. Hey, Suji. Hey, kitty. You go to the left. Okay. Well, Suji walked away. I think he's getting hungry. You go to the left side of ZenTriathlon.com. That's my cat. And there's a donation link for PayPal. And you can do a one-time donation and leave a little note in there about what's up. Or you can do a recurring donation. Either way, you do that. And if you ever send me an email or a note asking for coaching tips, I will give it to you because I owe you, because you helped support the show. And I really, really appreciate it. These donations to the show are huge, absolutely huge. Huge as in benefit. So there's just this nice, slow, light trickle of money that comes into PayPal just ever so gradually. And then when an unexpected triathlon bill comes up, hey, cat, quit eating the plant. Hey, get out of there. I'm going to get you to the plant. That's how he shows he's hungry, is he starts being bad. He starts eating a freaking fake plant over there in the corner. Anyway, so there was something. Oh, I just registered for Galveston 70.3, and having some money in PayPal from these donations helped convince Emily that it was okay, because I had a little bit of money to help pay for it. So these donations really, really do help. So let's go ahead and read some of those. Joseph Rogalski. Hey, Joe. What's up, man? And John Burns and M. Webb, Tyler Moyer, John Taylor, Elizabeth Davis, Spiros Fetsis. I never know if I'm saying his name right. Spiros or Spiros? I think I got Fetsis down. And Brett Hoyer. Oh, Spiros is from Chicago, and he's the guys behind Amphibian Multisport. And Chicago has awesome Greek culture and Greek food. Some of the best I've ever tasted in my entire, the best I've ever tasted in my entire life. In fact, Chicago has some of the best food I've ever tasted anywhere. And I've been a few places. So if you're ever in Chicago, go check out both Amphibian Multisport and some Greek food. Brett Hoyer, best first name ever. Il Sonyor, Melissa J. Boudreau, Dwayne Morin, Julie Callahan, Joseph, you're in there twice. Joseph Rogalski. I coach Joseph, so he ends up being in there twice. Then Christopher Allen and Daniel Stark and Ken Soderquist. And let's see, we got a one-time donation with a message. Those were all recurring donations. Stephen Simonson, and his message is, thanks, ! I'm long overdue with this, ! You've been super helpful, not just with the podcast, but also responding to random questions on Twitter. Keep it up. Yeah, I do that too. But please don't overwhelm me. I only got so much time in the day. But yeah, I answer questions on Twitter too. I like doing that. Rarely stumped. Rarely. But still get stumped on occasion. But I usually know somebody that can help you and send you their way. And also, another great way to support the show is getting Hornet Juice, which is some super cool stuff. And I just got another order from Sid Garza Hillman, and you can definitely respect him. He knows what he's doing, and he's into it. So he re-upped on it, which means it works for him. And also, all it is, it's really, really simple. It's an amino acid blend that helps you start metabolizing body fat, and it gives you an extra boost for a long time. It gives you extra calories in your bloodstream that you actually don't have to digest, so it's easier on your stomach. You can digest, your fuel, because more fuel, basically you're more power to your legs, because, hold on, Kai's, hey, I'm recording, dude. Okay, quit making faces in the glass. Hey, I'm recording, go away. Hey, what do you want for dinner? Oh, I lost him. I pretend like I'm mean to him sometimes. Go away. Oh, all his friends are coming in to the house now. Let me close this door. All right. So, the Hornet Juice works like this. The amino acid signals your body that, hey, let's metabolize some body fat. And the body fat gives you an extra, let's say like 100, 150, 200 calories naturally, like out of your body, for fuel, so that it gives you extra power while you're working out or racing. And man, you can feel it. It really, really does work. I had a friend just use some in a marathon, and he said it really freaking worked. It was crazy. He had tons of energy, and each packet is about 60 calories. So that's not enough for you to fuel yourself on. You're still going to have to eat some calories while you train, but or race. And you shouldn't go low. What it does is it gives you an extra boost on top of the calories that you already eat. And it makes you feel like a freaking diesel submarine, man. It's just this unending power that really levels you out. It boosts your energy, but also levels you out because it's body fat. And so let's say that you kind of under fuel for a few minutes by accident. Well, you're not going to crack. You're not going to crack and implode because you're still fueling yourself with this stuff. It's really, really cool. So that's called Hornet Juice, and it's on the right side of the show page, zentriathlon.com. And it's one packet lasts an hour and a half. I mean, that's a lot. So what I would do is get some and then train with it some, so you kind of know on like big training days, and then use it on race days for sure. But you want to train with it some so you get an idea of how it works. And it's super cool stuff. Okay, and I've got a message from somebody that used it and sent me an email back from Carl. Doing fine, Brett. Thanks for asking. Oh, if you get some, I send you a personalized email. Say, hey, what's up? How's it going where you are? What's it like training in Nova Scotia or in the Florida Keys or in India? I swear, man, I get orders from all over the world. It's absolutely crazy. I love the ones from Australia and New Zealand too. That's so far away. I have heard about enough of your Hornet Juice plugs that I felt like I might be missing the boat if I didn't step up and give them a try. And keep up the great work on the podcast. For what it's worth, I follow you on ZenTri and Tawny Prazak. We need to get her back on the show. On Endurance Planet. I always look forward to both. By the way, I might be going to San Diego this summer, and that's just an hour and a half or so from where Tawny lives, and she lives in like in Orange County or something like that. And so this summer we might be hanging out with Tawny. So, okay, well, that's enough for this podcast. Let me list off some interviews we got coming up. TJ Tollickson, Steve Fleck, who's an announcer for races. So cool. All right, that's it. Everybody stay safe out there. Work the uphills, cruise the downhills, and keep the rubber side down. Out.